Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mind Sports Olympiad 2019. My name is Ryan Young, and here I'm joined by Steve Raine. And this is an exciting one for you. It is Entropy World Championships.
Entropy is my favourite abstract game. We're going to be joining a tournament which is a double session tournament here at the Mind Sports Olympiad 2019. At match 4, we're halfway through match 4. We're going to be joining the last 2 undefeated players still left in the draw.
Okay.
That will be James Heppel and Paco Garcia de la Banda. Now, Paco was the commentator with me last year, so I'm rooting for Paco to win, so come on, Paco. And I believe, from what I saw, I didn't see the score, he had a good opening round.
Score is 70.
Ooh, 70. That is a good score for Paco to concede. Effectively, James scored 70. So how do you, what are the rules of Entropy?
So it's an asymmetric game in that one player will play as Order and the other will play as Chaos, and then they'll switch.
So what's Order trying to do then?
Order is trying to line up the counters, of which there are 7 colours, in palindromes, in patterns of palindromes across the rows and columns, and they will score points based on the amount of counters that make up that palindrome.
Brilliant. So if we're looking at column 1, this is Paco. He's playing as Order. James is pulling the counters out of the bag and placing them. If we look at column 1, Paco's got a palindrome.
Yes.
It goes blue, green, red, green, blue.
Yes.
That actually scores 8 points. It scores 5 points for being a palindrome of 5 long, but it also scores within it, there is another palindrome, green, red, green.
Yep.
So that will score 3 points for that, in total of 8 points. And you're trying to score most palindromes you can.
So James is playing as Chaos at this point. Yeah, so
Yes.
James is pulling the counters out of the bag, and he gets to place them anywhere on the board that he likes, and then Paco can move any counter that he likes on the board.
Yeah, like a rook in chess, as far as you want.
Yep. So looking at this so far, how do you, coming into this particular part of the game, what do you think about the placement of the tiles, and what's Paco going to be trying to do?
So I think Paco's doing quite well. You generally want to keep a lot of the middle of the board open, unlike a lot of abstract games where you want to control the centre and push your opponent to the edge. In this case, all the discs are effectively going to be in your control. You can move them around, and you want to be able to have the most space to move things in while still scoring some things. So if you'll notice, apart from that white one, the centre of the board is very open. Paco's just scored another palindrome on row F. It goes green, yellow, yellow, green, which scores 6 points. 4 points for the 4 length, and then 2 points for the 2 yellows, which are their own palindrome. Palindromes have to be at least 2 counters wide, and in total, like there were 7 colours, there is 7 of each colour in the bag. The bag will be completely empty, so it's not about look of what you've drawn out and what you haven't. The bag will get completely emptied by the end.
Yeah, that's interesting. James's placement of the blue there, he didn't want to put it on the right hand side of the board in column 5, 6, or 7, because in row G, Paco could then score another 5 or another 8 palindrome.
So if, well spotted, if Paco gets a blue in G5, Paco will have blue, purple, something, doesn't really matter what it is, purple, blue. And that will score, like we've seen on column 1, that will score 8 points.
So the role of Chaos is literally to make chaos on the board and make sure nothing joins up.
Yeah.
So that's what James has done so far with his placement of the blue.
So Paco has moved the purple down to A2. It threatens, it also gains him 3 points, because having purple something purple will score 3, whatever goes in the middle, unless it's another purple, of course. He's also got the opportunity to slide that blue in B4 across to B1, just to get it out of the way and attach it to that other blue that's there.
If you wouldn't try and move that blue in row B4, just one over to B5, because then he threatens to get a 5 in row G.
You can't do that now, but like,
yeah, it's blocked now, but
against good players, they're gonna put anything that isn't a blue in front of you, and that's blocking the middle of the board. So when you're threatening across the middle, you don't want them to use their turn to block you, also blocking the middle of the board. So blocks will generally, you prefer them to use their turn to block you on the edge of the board, because then they're not using their turn to block the middle.
Yeah. In a game we played yesterday, I was playing as Order, I was so entranced by the colours and making patterns that you'd completely locked off the quadrants of the board.
Yeah. So The ideal, like you said there, the ideal setup is like a cross through the middle. So you want a complete column down column 4 and a complete row across row D, and you effectively split it into 4 quadrants. And then when you pull a tile out, this is as chaos. You've got 4 places to place it where they can't easily get it from one quadrant to another without kind of breaking up your cross. So that's what you can see. This is what James is doing. He's got a row and a cross. So like halfway through a cross on down the centre. The top quadrant is pretty blocked anyway. Paca's still got a lot of space, and most of the space he's got is open.
At what point during the second part of the game where they've switched roles?
So James missed that. There was a purple, so the yellow into B2, and now Paca's got a full column on column 2.
Oh, wow.
So I could give you a little test, but I'm going to do it for you. A little test is how many that would score if you're doing it at home. It's going to score a full 7. It's going to score 5 from the yellow to the other yellow.
Yep.
And it's going to score 3 threes. Every set of purple gets you a 3. So it's going to get 7 plus 5 plus 3 threes, which is going to be 21.
Wow.
I imagine that Paco's already close to beating James's score. This is a 70 is a low score to get at top level, I think. You generally want somewhere between 75 and 80 for a medium score. Anything below that is probably easily beatable, and anything over like 90, 95 is probably going to be a win for you. So it can be very tight at the top level. You can't restrict your opponent to much less than 70. They're going to score something. And what you're trying to do, and we're going to try and spot one together at some point, is we're going to try and find something called a double threat. What's a double? Do you know what a double threat is?
Yes, because in our practice game yesterday, you consistently threatened us. So a double threat is where, as order, you're threatening with one piece to score in 2 different areas.
Yeah, either one piece in 2 different areas, or you move something so that the 2 pieces, the one you freed up and the one you've moved, will score separately.
Yeah.
And your opponent can only block one of them. So it's a double threat, and they've got to choose the one that is going to score either the fewest points or the one's going to block you. And sometimes, the problem with this is sometimes you draw out of the bag a colour, you're like, I want to block you, I can't with this colour. It's the same as the colour you're trying to use to fill it in.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of luck there. So I also think Paco's got an advantage here because there's only one white being drawn.
So towards the end of the game, he might be able to, if he keeps one of the quadrants open enough, he could keep those whites together and score a lot of points.
Bunch a lot of whites together. They might seem like you want a mix of colours to get those palindromes, but I don't know why James put that purple up there, because Paco could just at some point move G4 to G3, I guess.
That is the last purple to come out.
Oh, it is
as well.
Yeah, so but Paco's got a free move at some point to threaten something.
So there are only 7 pieces for each colour, and there are 7 colours.
The other possibility Paco's got at some point is to move the blue from G6 to G7, and that threatens the purple from G5 to G6 to get the whole top row.
Yep.
Oh no, it wouldn't be the whole top row, would it? You'd need some matching ones in the middle. Ignore that.
Would you move the blue from D5 to D3?
That's what Paco's just threatened to do. He's moved the white out of the way so that blue can slide in there. So James has drawn a yellow. It's not great because the yellow, if he puts the yellow in the way, the Paco will just slide the yellow in and get 3 points. But the blue going in will get Paco 4 more points, because 3 blues in a row will get you all 3 blues plus both pairs of blues. Will get you 7 points. So the most you can score, the best palindromes you can score are monocolour, and then the next best ones you can score are 2 colour.
It's very unlikely that you get all colours in one row, but how many points would that score you?
I think it's, I've never done it. The most I've got is 5. 5 is 30, 6 is, oh dear, it's gonna be about 45, and 7 is 77 or something like that. I have the score sheet somewhere at home, I can't remember it. But Paco's got to beat 70. I think he's doing very well at the moment.
Do you think with that 21 in row 2?
He's got the 21 in row 2. He's got the 8 in row 1. He's got 7 in row. So I'm just doing columns.
Oh, that's just the columns. Not
7
even
in column
counting
3.
the
He's
rows.
got 5 in column 4. He's threatening the white from B6 to B4. We don't know what colour James has pulled out.
But we've got a lovely from.
There was a double threat actually.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's got the bottom. Oh my God, it's even better. James, I don't know if James spotted that. He should have.
Oh my goodness,
He's
yeah,
got the
in
bottom
row
row.
A.
So the bottom row is worth 12. I think it's all over. I think now it's just how much over 100 will Paco score.
Not only is he getting amazing points, but if you look on row C, starting from 6 backwards, he's got a reverse LGBTQ flag.
He's he's threatening B5 to B3 still, which will get him column 3, yellow, 3 blues and a yellow. Again, I don't know what colour James has drawn. I might ask our cameraman if he could. He's drawn a white. That was a mistake, I think. But he didn't want to put the white there, I guess, because Paco would get the white in the column 4. But I think that's worse. I think Paco's actually scored more points doing that. He's still also threatening the white from B6 to B4. For B6 to B4 for the column 4 for white, green, green, white.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for James so far.
No, he's drawn another yellow. He definitely didn't want to put the yellow in that gap, so Paco's going to slide the white along.
Mm-hmm. We've got Florian Germain joining us back on Facebook. Hi, Florian. Asking who is in the lead currently in the Entropy.
It's both of these players. Mm-hmm. It's these two, the last undefeated players left. They've both won 3 out of 3. I know Paco has beaten Madly Mim. I believe he beat... who else must he beat? I can't remember. James Heppel beat Andres Kusk. Paco must have beat Demis, because Demis beat David Jameson. Oh, no, apologies. James Heppel beat Demis Sarbis, the all-time leading pentamine winner at the event. He's also quite pretty good at Entropy. So James Heppel beat Demis and Andres Kusk, and Paco's beat Madly Mim. I don't know who else Paco's played. I imagine he's played David Jameson. At the table 2, David Jameson and Andres Kusk have won the last 7 years between them of this event, and they're currently playing each other, so we'll get you the results of that match when we can.
It's interesting with Paco and James both leading. Do you think there's a good chance that they could maybe steal gold medal from both David Jameson and Andres Kusk? Or is it too early to tell?
Yeah, I mean,
that it's round
I
5
imagine
and 6 to go?
It's hard to win. It's impossible to win the gold if you lose 2.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever of Andres and David loses that match, they will fail to get gold, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So what you can do towards the end of a game is every time you've got 2 touching is you can split them by 1, and then you'll have a 3-pointer instead of a 2-pointer. So Paco just moved the blue from B1 to A1. So he split the 2 points out to 3. He can do similar things with the 2 yellows in column 5. Mm-hmm. He can split them apart. He can also do a similar thing with the 2 greens in column F. Sorry, row F.
Paco has managed to arrange a beautiful looking board. It's just so vibrant and colourful and in neat little rows of 2s and 3s. Even if you're just looking at the columns in the middle of the board.
He's still got 3 whites to come out. So what Paco's doing is leaving a lot of places where James can't put a white. If you look at the board, you can't put a white in G6. That'll score him 4 points.
Yep.
You can't have a white in E5. That'll score him 4 points. And you can't have a white in B1. That'll score him 4 points.
It's between a rock and a hard place there.
So definitely.
So it's a matter of how do you block whatever he pulled out a black there. So whatever he pulls out that's not a white, he has to try and block the highest point.
Yeah, so Paco could... there's also another black to come out. So Paco could slide this from F6 to D6 and threaten 3 blacks in a row. Also, it gets out of the way of the whites. So Paco's still leaving space for the white. So the white will go in that gap. Mm-hmm. So that's lucky for James. He didn't draw a black one out there. But there are still 2 whites left, and one of those whites will finish in G6. I don't think James can avoid that. So it's just about how much else you can get. Oh, nope, Paco's just split that up. Oh, there's also 2 reds to come out. So if he gets a red in E6, he'll get 5 in a row as well. So red in E6 will go. He's got a red. Mm-hmm. This will go green, red, black, red, green in E6.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at
so that's fine. There's still one more red to come out. 2 whites, a red. And this is what Pack will do. You notice the time is ticking down. Now, this is where the order player takes a bit more time towards the end of the game. The chaos player takes more time towards the start.
We've also got a comment on YouTube, a couple comments. How many do we know are in this year's Entropy tournament?
I think the numbers are slightly down. David Pearce took a bit out. Obviously, we're not playing either.
Yep.
I believe there's 19 people registered. I think maybe only 17 is still in the event. David Pearce decided not to play. So you need at least 4 rounds to get to an undefeated player, but there are always 6 rounds in Entropy. It is the signature event, mainly because it's the only event that has been played every year since the Mind Sports Olympiad began in '97. And a lot of players like it because I don't think there's another abstract game like this out there that I know of anyway.
Yeah, I've never come across this before the MSO, so it's really nice to learn about Entropy and find that it exists.
So I imagine Packer might pass it because there's still a white to come. There's still 2 whites to come. One of those whites, they can't both. Yeah, I think Packer just passes. I think wherever the whites go are going to score him quite well. And then the last colour is a red. I think he's passed. This is bad for James. One of the whites has to go in B1 to score Paco 4 points because he can't put both whites at the top.
Yep.
Which means that the red, maybe he has to put both whites there because the red doesn't want to. Yeah, he's going to put both whites there, so he's going to slide that across.
Scores
just so, yeah.
6 in column 5.
Yeah, he was always going. He already had 2, so he scores in 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a red and a white. The red can't go in E6 because that's 5 points. So the white has to go there for 7 in the right. And then the last one's a red. I don't think Paco moves anything. He can't move anything to gain an extra point apart from he can't move anything to gain an extra point. So they're just going to score it now. So I'm going to try and beat them to a score. We're going to see how far past 70 points has Paco got. So make it 5, then 9, then 7. Then they're doing different rows to me, so this is putting me off. Then nothing, then 3, then 4, then 12. And 20. Did you say 21, did we?
Yeah, we said 21 for that.
For that one, and then 7 add 5 is 12. Oh my god. 4, 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, 9. 6. Oh dear. And that one is actually nothing.
Thank you, man.
I think Paco scores exactly 100.
100.
I think it's scored exactly 100. We're going to see what they've got. But according to my calculations, it's 100 or thereabouts.
Yeah. Not only is it a pretty high score, but it's a very pretty board.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do this one because he's the last undefeated. I imagine it's Paco. Yeah, we'll do that while we've got time. Yeah, so we've just been told we're going to have Paco. Have I got it right? Oh, 102. I got something wrong. Bad maths there. Maybe I missed a 2 somewhere. So Paco's going to get sent through to have a quick chat with us. Do you mind if I have a chat with Paco?
Absolutely,
okay?
yeah, tear on.
So well done to Paco. He's the last undefeated player. Gives himself in a good position to win a medal. If he wins his next match, he's almost guaranteed a medal. And if he wins the next 2, he's going to guarantee himself the gold. He has won this event before. So Paco was my co-conspirator last year in the commentary box. It'd be nice to see him back and chat just to see how he's doing and how that game played out. If you'd like to comment on anything we're doing today, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. If you just pop a comment in the comment section just down below, we will get back to you as soon as we can with any answers that we can get for you. It doesn't have to be on Entropy itself. It can be on anything we do here at the Mind Sports Olympiad. We do have over 70 events, and we're halfway through the events this year. There is an overall Pentamind standings, which we will have a look at some point in the stream, just so you can see the overall winner in the event that kind of encompasses everything. Paco, my friend.
Oh, my friend.
How are you doing? Congratulations. Take a seat, put some headphones on. Does this bring back memories?
Yeah, so good memories from last year.
Oh, brilliant.
It was amazingly happy to share it with you.
Yeah, I came in and watched your match. I watched before we had it on stream. I was watching you play as Chaos against James, and he looked like he was struggling. I think he did a very good job. How do you feel it went?
Yeah, I feel really well, but I must recognize that I have had a lot of luck, sincerely.
Have you had a lot of luck?
With the colors, always helping to me.
Okay.
So I think that I have done well, but with a lot of luck.
Okay,
That's
so
important.
you've played 4 matches. You're the last undefeated player. Congratulations. You've played Madley and James and 2 other matches. Which has been your toughest match so far?
I think that James
is the toughest one,
yeah.
even though you won by 30 points.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He is so strong, and in the beginning, when he was ordered, he was doing so well. I was suffering. I thought that he could reach nicely 85, 90 points, and then I will be under big pressure. But I was very lucky with the colors in the end, and he could not build so many points.
Do you think he made a few mistakes when he was playing as Chaos? Because he let you get that whole column, didn't he?
Well, yeah. It will be important, that column, yes.
Because that was 21 points. That last piece in the column scored you quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. And in that case, I was very happy to build up the whole column. It was
very
important,
good.
Yes.
Yeah. Just chatting to Ryan, he was talking about a strategy of keeping the centre of the board empty, and you kept that right near the end. I think you were quite lucky that he hadn't drawn many whites out of the bag. So towards the end.
That's true. Yeah, I knew that there were 4 whites pending, and then 3, and so on. And I built all my ending strategy just for the whites.
Yeah, we could see that.
And then, I mean, building up more than 70 points was my target, and then I was quite confident when I saw that there were so many whites, only looking for settling correctly the whites, and that's all.
He didn't have much, with that many whites left in the bag, he was struggling to put them anywhere safe, so you were scoring well. So there's 2 more matches to go, 2 more wins, and you win your gold medal, your favourite event.
Yeah, this is the only event that I feel strong enough to try for the gold. I mean, I know that David, Andres, James, and Demis, all 4 are stronger than me, or at least I think that maybe I am the same level, and they're also more strong players. But those 4, to beat them for me is enormous happiness.
Congratulations. So we've got 2 more matches. Is there anyone looking forward to playing specifically?
Well, I have lost every game against Andres, so I have never won him.
Yeah, he was playing David Jameson there, though, so that's a tough one, isn't it?
And I play regularly with David on internet, and he wins me something like 2-1, 3-1. So,
okay, so
any of them, I am.
So we hope the draw's kind to you. You are the last undefeated player, so well done, Paco.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching you next match because you'll be back on table 1. So best of luck, sir.
A pleasure to stay with you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Paco. You go and get some rest, get psyched up, and we'll be supporting you on from the commentary box.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we've got 2 more rounds to go. The matches themselves are technically an hour long. You get 2 15-minute time banks for each game, effectively each version of the game where you order a chaos. So you've got 15 minutes each when one person's order, one person's chaos. You score, then you reset to 15 minutes each, and you play the other way around. It's one of the few games where you need to play both sides to actually get a winner, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I think in asymmetric games like the Nefertafel family of games, usually opponents will switch sides just to see, can you win as the attacker, can you win as the defender, just to make sure that you have the ability to win the game outright. But it's a formula that we see in tennis as well. We were talking about last night. Is there are some sides that are stronger. We were talking about this in particular to Avalon, where black has
a slight advantage.
So if you can win almost by breaking the serve, by winning as white or winning as, do you think there's a harder side of Entropy to play on, Order or Chaos?
I think intrinsically some people would be better than others. I know at the cafe, it's hard. I don't know which one I am. I'm potentially better at Chaos, but one of my colleagues struggles with Chaos.
Okay.
So comparatively, I'm better than she is, and so whenever we want to practice, if she wants to practice, she wants me to be Order so she can practice being Chaos and vice versa.
Okay.
I think a lot of the other asymmetric games, each side has their own win condition.
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes when it's not balanced because one person's got an advantage going first, you might need to swap sides so you both have the chance. But the win condition from both sides is the same.
Yeah.
Or it's like a attacker versus defender side. You win by repelling them, or you win by attacking them down or something. Whereas this, you can't win as Chaos. You just restrict them to the lowest score you can, and then you have to swap. Otherwise, you've got no comparison.
Yeah, there's a great balance in that, in being forced to play both sides and understand both sides intrinsically. You say you're maybe better at Chaos. Do you prefer playing as Chaos, or do you like playing as Order?
I think I like playing as Order better, but I think I'm probably better at being Chaos. I think I'm better at gumming up the board than my opponents are in the same situation. And because they don't gum it up well against me or as well, I think I then get better scoring opportunities.
Okay.
But it's nice to score points.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like arranging the pretty colours. And you can lead me down the rabbit hole so easily in that. It's really quite joyous to play as Order. Yeah. What was I going to say? Do you think... Nope, it's gone.
We're going to have a quick look at the Pentamind standings in a second. The Pentamind is the overall official standings for your best 5 events over the course of the week at the Mind Sports Olympiad. There are over 70 events, and some players play quite a lot of them. They're usually 3 events a day just to try and get the best Pentamind score they can, and some people really care for them that top gold medal for the Pentamind. You'll see a lot of the players in the Pentamind are also going to be in Entropy, because Entropy is a premium event. It's also a highly regarded event that a lot of the top players just seem to be pretty darn good at. So let's have a look at those standings as soon as we can. And we'll see if there's been any change since results have been added as the day's gone on. Okay, so we've got the Pentamind standings on the board there. We've got Andres Kusk in first. I think I have to look behind it. Oh, there we go. Andres Kusk in first. Still, I don't think that's changed since we last looked at it. But for those people who haven't seen it, we've got the top 10 in the Pentamind standings. I will briefly point out some of the players in the standings who are in the event today. Andres Kusk was at table 2. He had lost 1 game. I believe he lost to... well, I don't know who he lost to, actually, but he might have been... Actually, no, it was James Heppel, I think. Andres Kusk was played David Jameson. David Jameson, the 3-time champion at this. Andres Kusk, again, will probably need to go 5-1 to get a score good enough to add to his plethora of scores above the 90s there. We've got Kuno Koch. He is another one of the Estonians. There's a whole host of Estonians in the top 5 there. He's in this event there. I don't quite know how well he's doing. He was seeded in the top 8 seed, so he's a decent player at this. We've got... I believe that's it in this event, actually. A lot of the other players, I think Dario and Ankush are playing backgammon. And Mark Teste was in Twixt, so he will not be in this either. I don't believe any of the other players there in this event, but I will mention Matthew Hathel, the leading Englishman there. Well done, Matthew. He does so well, given he arbitrates a lot of the events there, so there's a lot of concentration needed to play the event well and run it there. But we can see the top 5, there's 4 Estonians, Andres, Martin, George and Kuno, and hats off to them for doing so well and representing Estonia so brilliantly. We're going to try and move to match 5 as soon as it starts. Again, we'll be featuring Paco, our undefeated champion, and we're going to back Paco, aren't we?
Yes, yeah.
We're going to back Paco for the win because we like Paco. He was our commentator last year. And we're also going to try and get standings for the overall event too, so we can see who is biting his heels on 3 wins and 1 loss. Generally, the medalists in this event will come from people who have only lost once, so as soon as you've lost your second one, you're probably out of the running for the medals. But you can still get a decent Pentamind score. Yeah.
Is there anybody in the Pentamind that you're rooting for? Do you have a horse in the race, or is it just nice to see?
It's nice to see different people do well. I'd like to see Matthew Hathel do well because him and both Mike Dixon arbitrate so many of the events that it's nice to see them. They're clearly good players because they're doing well in the events. but they're also putting so much into kind of helping and support the Mind Sports Olympiad. Ankush Khandelwal, last year's defending champion, is my bridge partner, or at least we play bridge together. I'm not his main partner, but we play bridge together, so I'm always rooting for Ankush. He's in backgammon. I walked in on him. He had one roll to go. He said, I need at least a double four, and his opponent kind of threw the dice in the air, thinking, that was for the match as well.
Yeah.
So he's doing backgammon. He feels like he can play Entropy, but he wouldn't be able to compete for a medal against the quality of the field they've got today.
With David Jameson and Andres Kusk.
And Demis Hassabis, who's he's won Entropy quite a few times, maybe towards the late 90s, early noughties, but he has won the Pentamind Championship 5 times.
That is the record so far, is it?
It is. There's Demis on 5, Andres has got 4, and I think there's 3 players on 2. You've got James Heppel, Ankush Khandelwal, and the other name eludes me, I'm afraid.
Okay, we can maybe look that up.
Yeah, I might be wrong actually. Maybe you can list some names and see if I can remember who's got it. I think David Pearce potentially has won it twice.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Speaking of Florian Germain, he was helping out with Twixt earlier. He came 8th last year in the Pentamind. He's not here this year. He just had a baby, so congratulations, Florian. If you're still watching, thank you very much for supporting us during Twixt.
I believe he is. We also have another supporter of Paco. We have Jose Luis Segura on Facebook.
Vamos, Paco.
Vamos, Paco.
Yeah.
Dario de Toffoli
is won twice.
One of the other.
Florian, thank you very much for your support. Okay, so we have got David Jameson. So Paco was just in an interview. He said, I asked him who he'd looking forward to playing, and he said, well, all the other good players keep beating me. I've never beat Andres Kusk, and David Jameson's probably got a 3-1 win rate against me. So David Jameson is a 3-time defending champion. He won last year despite losing a match, and he's lost a match this year. I think he lost to Demis Hassabis, who then James Heppel beat. So well done to Demis for beating David. But David beat Andres Kusk. Andres Kusk has now lost 2 out of 5. It probably puts him outside chance for a medal based on potentially gets there on tiebreaks, but I don't think it's going to happen. Now what you'll see at the start of the game is that order will move much quicker than chaos usually. So Paco will speedily move things to the edge, keep himself having space, and David will be placing him in such a positions that Paco will find it hard to kind of get colours that are the same on the same edge. So he's got his 3rd yellow out there. David's going to place it into put this in a place where Paco can't bring it to the bottom row. So it is a bit of luck. Sometimes you just keep drawing the colours you don't want. David kind of did a bit of a hand sigh there. And this is where he starts thinking.
It's another yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bit like when we were talking earlier about certain games getting more restrictive or more open as the game goes on. Mm-hmm. For example, Go gets more restrictive as the game goes on because there's fewer spots on the board.
Yeah.
There are fewer spots as Chaos, so Chaos will think more at the start when they've got more choice. Mm-hmm. And Order will think more at the end when they've just got more pieces to move around.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen here. So you'll see that David's time will probably go down quicker than Paco's generally.
So what we've seen so far is Paco is moving as much as he can towards the edge of the board. He is leaving the red in the centre. I've been wondering about that.
Yeah, he hasn't got a good place to move it to at the moment. Yeah. He doesn't really want to put it in between the 2 yellows at the top. He can't really move it to the bottom row, and he can't move it to the side rows at the moment. So I think he might look to move the yellow underneath the red out of the way to the right-hand side. The other possibility is he moves the yellow in G7 down, but I think it's better to clear the centre. I think Paco knows this. I think he's going to try and clear the centre out of the way first, which is what he's done. And it's in the black for Dave Jameson. And the fact that Paco's put 2 yellows up against the green probably means he's going to move the yellow from G7 down at some point.
That was my next question. Does he move the yellow from G7 down and threaten that?
Yeah.
It
doesn't really threaten. I mean, he's drawn the yellow, but he's got places to put this. He can put this in things like places like F2, or that was the other one I was going to suggest, D3. Now David just needs something, again, something that wasn't green or yellow. He'd be able to block this move. And now Paco can move the one from B7 to the bottom, and then try at some point to try and fill that with a white and get a full palindrome.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. Or this is what's called a double threat.
So he's moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a double threat. He was threatening to move the yellow down, so David had to fill a gap, which allowed Paco to put the two whites together. And David's just stopped him taking that purple one out in future. So Paco's not going to be able to move the purple one out. It takes too many moves to move it out and threaten the same thing again.
So that's locked out. So that in column 7, you've got a 3 and then a 2, and then another 3.
Yeah, it's going to score 8 points at the moment. It's going to score yellow, purple, yellow for 3, yellow, green, yellow for 3, and then yellow, yellow for 2. At some point, like I said, he can move the yellow from B7 to A7, gets him an extra point, and also threatens putting, in this case, a purple in that gap.
But I imagine he'll wait for maybe a purple in a more advantageous position.
Yeah, potentially. He also, I mean, he doesn't need to. He's not threatening the purple yet anyway. He might just be moving out of space. If he's not got a move to make anywhere else, he might do that. At the moment, he's doing that now.
Okay.
At the moment, I thought he might still try to clear some of the middle of the board. He could move the purple from A3 to A1.
Does placing the blue there stop him threatening with the yellow from
he needs to move the purple
D3,
out.
yeah.
He needs to move the purple out of the way first. But moving the yellow down to that bottom row is just too many moves. It's 3 moves. He's moved the purple up. So this is going to do 2 things. It's going to threaten the purple up to G2, which David's blocked, and then he can now move the white down to the bottom row, which does 2 things. It threatens white. So David's got to spend his turn blocking this gap at the bottom with a red. But it also means that David's not blocking the centre of the board. You know earlier when I said threatening to block someone, you want to make someone use their turn to block you in a place that isn't blocking up the centre of the board. Because otherwise it just takes you too many moves to kind of clear things out again. Yeah. I think at the moment, given how well Paco did at the start of last game, I think this is about the point where we tuned in last game.
Yes.
I think Paco's doing progressively worse. I think by this time last game, Paco had a very high scoring 8 and a 21, or close to a 21. On the right hand side.
This was one of the games that you commentated on last year? Was it?
It was
the first time you were introduced to Entropy?
Yeah, and I liked it so much when I was commentating on it, just looking for the patterns, watching, and I'm a pattern recognition guy. One of my favourite games is set, just like looking for patterns and stuff like that. And so I got myself a set and played it for a year. I think I'm now pretty fast at spotting the patterns I need to do now. But yeah.
Something in our game yesterday that I was finding it difficult to adapt to was trying to see more than 2 or 3 types of colours so that you can really join together those 21 points.
Yeah, or even the 5s, not the 5s, the 8s. When I say 8, I mean like red, blue, green, blue, red. So that scores 8, although it's 5 long, it scores 8 because you get the palindrome in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Paco's not scoring much at the moment. He's just keeping the centre clear. He's got the opportunity to move the blue in F6 down 1. He's also got the potential to move the purple across as well to join them. He's moved 2 blacks in column 1. At the moment they're not scoring, but he can potentially squish them together somehow when he's got some turns to do so. You generally, when you're threatening a move, you generally don't want it to be more than 2 moves. You want to move it there, done.
Yeah.
Move it there's the threat, moving it there's the score. If you're spending 3 moves to do that, they've just got too much time to block here. They're going to be putting, even if they don't block it, they don't see it. They're just putting too many tiles in the middle blocking you.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth it. So any sort of threat you want to make, you're either moving things to make life easier for you, or you're making a single threat. So basically move it, threatening this.
So for instance, that purple in A2, you wouldn't move it to B2 because it's so obvious you're going for B7.
I would move it to B2 if the yellow could move across for a different threat or something like that.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be doing that yet. I mean,
You're just giving the Chaos player a free move to block.
Correct. Also, I wouldn't move it given there's already 3 other purples out. If that was the only purple out, then there will be 6 purples left in the bag or 5 purples left in the bag, and then there's a chance that he pulls the purple out and can't block you.
Yep.
So when you're going to make an attack, a bit like the last game when James and Paco and James had a lot of whites left in the bag, like the odds of picking a white out are pretty high. So you need to put yourself in a favourable place so that if he draws the most likely colour out, he can't block you, or he can't block it, or he has to put it somewhere to give you some points.
Yeah.
So this is the 4th red. A lot of the reds are in the centre. They're not scoring anything yet, but they might.
And as Chaos in this sort of position, you're still looking to divide the board, but because the reds are so central, that's a difficult prospect, so you might place it on the edges.
I might not place it right near the edge, but I'm probably not going to place it in a place that can kind of team up with any of the other reds, because there's a lot of space that those reds can kind of move into.
So nothing in, say, B or C, particularly from 2 to 5, because then you get it into the center and you...
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you might place it in something like D1. Okay, he's just going to give Paco 2 points. Yeah, you don't really want to waste your... So basically, spots like G3 are really good, because whatever you put in G3 can't be moved away. But you want to keep those spots until near the end. You don't want to be using your turn to do those, because also that's what Paco wants you to do. He wants you to put it in the places that aren't movable near the edge.
Right,
so that he can continue to tidy the middle up and tidy it up in such a way it's going to score him points.
Okay.
So Paco's moved that red across. It was scoring him 2 where it was. It's now scored him 6. Apologies. It scores him more than 6, because row F, he's going to get 8 on row F.
F1 to F5.
He's also going to score 3 in column 4. So well done, Paco. I think that was. I think David drew a green, so he couldn't really block him, because a green going there would score him green, red, red, green. So I don't think he could block that. So that's one of the situations, because there were 2 colours that David could draw that couldn't be blocked.
Yeah.
You've given yourself odds. If you do move the purple from A2 to B2, the only thing he can't block you with is a purple or a yellow.
Yes, of course.
So you can't block with yellow, but there's 5 yellows out and 4 purples out, which means there's only 6 counters left out of about 25 or something that can be blocked with.
Is it worth Paco at this stage holding out for the idea that a yellow and purple won't be drawn until later on in the game, so he keeps that free?
Yeah, but he's also got to keep the whole row free.
Yeah, he has to keep the whole row B free.
Yeah.
That's, do you think, too much of a struggle?
I think so,
yeah. It's not worth the 20 odd points that it would get him.
Yeah. A green in that gap's pretty good as well, actually. You couldn't block him with a green. So maybe you do threaten this at some point soon, because a green in that gap would give you yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow.
Yeah.
And that's 14, so that would be 17 points. Currently, that row's worth 9. A green in there will get you 17. So I wonder, you might even move the green down 1. Because a purple, yellow or green in that space, I think you probably have to threaten it soon, because there's not much time left to do much else.
There's 5 greens left.
Sorry? There's 2 greens left.
Oh, sorry, there's 5 greens out. And
there's 5 yellows out. So he's threatening the yellow across now to get on the bottom row. So David's going to block it. And maybe he just moves the yellow up 1 or the purple up 1.
Do you think now is the time to threaten?
I think, yeah, but if you're going to threaten, you want to do it with the purple or the green. He's just content to score some points. David can't put a red in this row to block those moves.
Yep.
Because there'll be 3 reds. I don't think anything Paco's done has scored particularly highly. Like if I did a current score now, the top row's worth 2, the next row's worth 8, the next row's nothing, then nothing, then nothing, then nothing, then 2. And then the columns is 3, then nothing, then 5, then 2, then 3, then 9. So currently he's on a score of about 40 something, I think.
Is that we're coming towards the end of the game? Is that a low score going into the end, or would you expect it to?
I'm only scoring it part way for the cameras. I think I don't generally do that when I'm playing, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like he was doing a lot better in the game he played against James.
Yeah. As Paco said during the interview, he was getting a lot of lucky draws, no whites for a while.
Yeah.
So he's moved to purple.
He didn't need that to be purple. Is the issue? That can be anything, but you now can't threaten the purple on the bottom. So I think Paco's got a chance there. I think Paco can move the green in C2 down one, threatening green to B7. And if that doesn't work, he can put the green next to the other green in B1. So I think it's a really bad double threat, because one side scores like 14 and one scores 2.
Yeah.
So David's clearly going to block the 14. He's now threatening the green to F3. Potentially that was... Yeah, I'm not sure that was... but he can't block this with a black or a red, because the black goes up to G3 and the red goes up to F3. So I think he's got a black in his hand, so he can't block this.
And you wouldn't put the black in G5 or 6, because that would give away 6 points. Where do you put the black in this?
The first Paco's going to move the green to F3, whatever you do. So just put it somewhere. You could potentially put it in B4, yeah. B4 or B2 seems sensible. Yeah. So Paco, here's a challenge for you then. Did I tell you how many points it's worth? So row F, it goes green, red, green, red, green. How many points is that?
So you've got 5 initially for the whole palindrome.
Gotcha.
Then you've got 3 for green, red, green. Then another 3 for the other green, red, green. Then you've got red, green, red. Yeah. Which is another 3, so that's 5 and 3 3s, 16.
5 and 3 3s is 14. Yeah. But yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's fine. You had the right answer. You just
my
fell in the last turn.
Yeah.
So he's drawn out a purple.
And he's threatened. That's quite interesting. He's threatened to move A7 to A6.
Yep.
And because he's drawn a purple, Paco would just put it in B6.
Yes, he would. Yes, he can't block with the purple. So Paco will move A7 to B7. I think. I don't think he'd do anything else here.
3 blues left to come, so that'll actually be potentially quite useful.
I think Paco's doing what he did last time. So a blue in G6 scores him a lot. A blue also in A7 scores him a lot.
Yeah.
I think Paco is doing what he did last time and leaving himself favourable to his opponent drawing blues or whites. So there's still 3 blues and 3 whites to come, and there are only 14 left.
So that's the 5th blue to come out. So there's 2 left after that.
Yeah. All right. You definitely can't put a yellow on the top row.
No. Might put it on G3.
Yeah, that's a safe space for a lot of things.
But you were saying about keeping those small pockets open for chaos at the end of the game.
You still, even though there's not many, there's lots of disoriented pockets, you still want to be blocking the space to move around. So you want to be putting it, if you could, you'd put it in G6 or B2. If you could, if it didn't score some points.
Yeah.
Because that blocks the limited movement Paco's still got. Yeah. So remember, there's still a lot of whites out. And there's still 2 reds. So at some point, Paco could move G4 to G6. Because then a red will score quite highly on G4.
Yeah.
So if David doesn't watch out. And this is where, as order, you're going to take a bit more time. As chaos, you've got fewer options. You'll notice that David's got 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
And Paco's got 9. But you'll see that come closer to a head. Because Paco will take a bit more time. He'll count what's left in the bag. He'll be doing that now, to be honest. Counting what's left in the bag. He knows there's 3 whites. Well, 2 in this one. He knows there's 2 reds and 2 blues.
One purple.
Yeah. 1 purple, 2 blacks, 1 yellow, and 1 green.
There's a comment we have on Facebook from Per Sorley. Not easy to buy this game. What were your experiences after last year's?
So I could not find this game. I apologize. I tried to buy some counters. I tried to get really deep counters, and I couldn't get them. I was going to try and make my own board, but I couldn't get like the feel of these counters. They're like pretty thick counters. Mm-hmm. So the game itself is from the 70s, I think, late 70s. Yeah. I think the designer, I'm afraid, is no longer with us, but he was widely regarded here. It's an excellent game. People love it here. Your best bet might be to find a copy of Heil, which is a 5x5 version, which might actually, it's not in print, but you might be able to find second-hand copies better. That's only 5x5 with 5 colours, so it's nowhere near the level of strategy that this game has. Yeah. If you want to try this game out, have a look, but I think your best bet is to kind of either come down, join in next year, or kind of make a do-it-yourself board. Yeah. Paco was talking about playing this on the internet. If I find out what site you can play this on, I will let you know. Possibly Tabletopia.
Possibly Tabletopia. There's also Boîte à Jeux.
Yeah, I don't think it's on Boîte à Jeux, and I don't think it's on Little Golem, which are all sites to play abstract games.
So potentially Board Game Arena.
And again, I think that's more Euro games, but I don't know. I imagine there will be somewhere online. If I find out for where you can play that, I will do that. But in terms of actually a hard physical copy, it's been out of print for a long time. Mm-hmm. We've just retained them at the Mindsports Olympiad because it's such a popular event here.
So this is the last white piece to come out.
Yeah. And he's unlucky as David because Paco's going to move that there, and that scores 14. It's another 14. In fact, he's got 2 14s. So he's done very well, I think, Paco. He's turned this around. I think David was unlucky there because he couldn't block that because he drew a white. But having said that, Paco was threatening with a white with 2 whites left in the bag.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 white left in the bag. Right, so what's left? There's 1 red, 1 green,
1 black.
2 blacks.
2 blacks, okay.
1 red, 1 green, 2 blacks, a blue, and 2 blues, and a purple. And there's 2 blacks left, and look how many blacks are in row B.
Yes, indeed, yeah. If you're Paco, you maybe want to move G6 to G7 for just in case there's a blue comes out next.
Yeah, but David's not going to put it there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but it would score you points anywhere you would put it because that red's not doing anything.
Yeah,
for
there's
Paco
no.
now.
Is there a green left? Yeah, he's not going to put the green there, so maybe you do that. Yeah, maybe you do that because then David can't put a purple in G7. So maybe that's a sensible move actually. That's a sensible move. That red's not scoring you. There's nothing that can go in G7 that scores you anything because all the whites, all the yellows have gone. There's 1 green. David's not going to put it there, and that's it. So yeah, I like that move. That's good.
I feel like this is a really accessible game when it comes to the mechanic of counting hidden tiles in a bag that you're drawing out. It's one of the more accessible ones.
There is an alternative that you can move A7 to A5.
Yeah.
It makes blacks that David would draw out much worse for Paco, so maybe he does that a bit later. But yeah, you're right, it is accessible. Yeah. It's dead easy. The rules are super simple.
Everybody knows their colours. There's always 7 of, and you can. The information is in front of you, so you can always.
I've played this with someone who's colourblind, and they haven't found it too much of an issue. They can't tell whether it's red or green, but when they're placed next to each other, they can tell the difference. So
yeah, there's a great app that you can get on your phone that overlays kind of a colourblind filter to see the 3 types of colourblind. So I've been using that at Untitled.com, and when I'm playing with colourblind friends, just to see, oh, well, this game probably isn't good for my friends. We'll maybe go for something else tonight.
So Paco's taking his time now. He's got 6 minutes to burn. He's like 4 minutes ahead.
So we've got a couple more comments. Any idea what the highest single game score seen in the competition is, excluding weird situations arising from players running out of time?
Yeah, so the running out of time rules are slightly weird, but the highest score I've seen last year was David Pearce on the feature table. Now the issue is when we're watching the feature tables, we're looking at the best players versus the best players, so the skill difference isn't as high. But David Pearce got, if you look at last year's stream, he got 100 and like about 108 or something like that against someone else, and the difference between scores was quite big as well. So it was a pretty dominant performance. David Pearce, I think he came third last year, so well done to him.
At the non-competitive level, Steve, you beat me with a score of 120 something yesterday.
Yeah, I got 120 versus 66 or something.
Yeah.
So the highest score I've ever got is 140, but that was against a guy who he didn't give up, but he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And he just got frustrated and frustrated. Every time he put some down and missed it, that he started missing more and more.
Yeah.
So the highest, I mean, anything over 100 should win you the game. Anything over 90, you should probably possibly in with a shout. It's where it gets between 80 and 90 is where that borderline comes. And anything under an 80, you've got to start worrying against some of these players that they're going to score higher. I think Paco's going to score higher than 80 here. He's scoring a lot of points for column 7. He's going to score a fair bit. It's going to get 5, 6, 7, 8. 9,
and
10,
column
12.
6.
Column 7 scores 7. Row F scores 14. And where was the other one he got? Column 5 scores 14 as well. So I think Paco's going to do fairly well here. It looked worse at the start, but I think David's just not drawing the right colours. But that happens. That will happen every game you play with this. Sometimes you look to threaten something, your opponent pulls something out, and they go, can't block you with this.
Yeah. And another recommendation is you could get poker chips. Widely available in small quantities and in many colours, so you can pick your 7 favourites.
Yeah.
That's another
Poker
way
chips
to get
are nice.
around.
As long as these slide, because these slide very well.
Yes.
So as long as they slide, and you need to get a board as well, and the board needs to be raised at the edges, so when they slide and hit the edge, they stop. But yeah, poker chips is a great suggestion, actually. Did not think of that.
I suppose when you think of poker chips and Texas Hold'em,
So
they come in like 4 or 5 varieties.
Yeah, Paco's. Oh, that was a mistake by David, I think. Oh, no, it wasn't. Paco. Yeah, I think that was a mistake by David. I think
It's another 8.
he put. Yeah, so he didn't stop this move that Paco had threatened, which I didn't see either. So let me off. I wonder if you just move the green along. Or the purple along. There's 2 blacks left still.
And 2 blues. So either the red in
I think you
G6.
I think you move B2 to B1.
Mm.
The Paco's going to have a think. He's got 4 minutes. He's got loads of time. David Jameson's got 25 seconds left. So David's got to be pretty quick. Now, what I will tell you, the running out of time rules are pretty draconian.
Yes, I like these.
Did you know this? So if you run out of time as Chaos, Order picks them out of the bag and puts them where they want. So that's pretty bad. You don't want that to happen. And if you run out of time as Order, Chaos puts them out and puts them where they want, and you can't move them. So it's nice. It's one of those games where it's timed where you don't lose a game by running out of time, but you do pretty poorly out of it if you do.
Yep. So a blue came out there and it's placed in G7.
Yeah, so I think you just move B2 to B1. He's going to think again. He's got 3 minutes. There might be better suggestions, to be honest. But there's 2 blacks to come out.
Yeah,
2 blacks, a blue, and a red.
Yeah, B2 to B1. That will open up
so.
the maximum amount of scoring so far.
Yeah, I think you're not guaranteed to get a black in B2, but if black doesn't come out in the first if black comes out in the first 1 or 2, you might.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gone the other way. So it's a blue. He could move the blue along to the bottom. I think he moves the blue along to the bottom. To be honest.
A2.
Sorry?
A2.
No, I think he moves it to. I think he moves it to A4. Scores 3 points.
With 2 blacks to come, though.
Yeah, you can put the blacks. You're always going to be able to put the blacks. Because you've also got a red to come as well.
Oh, yeah, true.
He's just going to work out what scores him best, I think. I think you move. I think you move A3 to A1.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially you can then move B4 downwards, and if a red ever comes out, it might might be able to get in that gap. Oh no, I think you do A3 to A4.
Shake of the head there from David.
I think Paca's done well given the start here, actually.
Yeah.
But it happens. You get an entropy. There is a bit of luck because you are drawing out of tiles in the bag. But if there's a big skill difference between the players, the best player will always win. It's what I've seen. Yeah. I think that's what I would have done. The red goes there. So you can force the red there. So we're going to have a quick score. They're going to hopefully write down the score next to me. I'm going to have a bit of a practice doing the scores because I got it wrong last time.
And if you want to leave a comment down in both YouTube or on Facebook, you can get us at Mind Sports Olympiad.
He's got row C as well. I didn't spot. Row C's got an 8. Row D's got an 8 plus a 2 is 10. So I've got it in column 1 onwards. Goes 6, nothing, nothing. 5, 16, 9, 12. And then going across in the rows, he goes 2, 14 for row F. Nothing. 5, 8, because he's got an 8 that I don't think we spotted actually. Yep. Which is the British colours, or the French colours, whichever way you look at it, and then 10 on the next row as well. So I make it 16, 21, 29, 39, 44 that way, and then 27, 36, 48 that way. I make it 92, which is a good score given the start, I think. But we'll see. I might have got this wrong, to be honest. I got the last one wrong, so. $92.
My faith in you is restored.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think against most players, that would be a score you'd be happy with. Against someone as good as David Jameson, you've still got to do some work.
Yes, yeah. So it's not all said and done here.
Now, I saw Dave Jameson last year playing against Andrew Skuska in the last match, and I was actually quite amazed at how well David did in that last match. The last few turns, he just racked up some big points, little moves. Knew what was coming out, blocked that, forced them to play there. Oh, it went very well.
So it's never over really until the last couple turns, unless.
I mean, the highest theoretical score in the game would be, I don't know, somewhere around the 400 mark. So, but you're never going to get that. But like, so in theory, if I score 120, I can still lose. I've seen higher scores than 120.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice, drawn three purples here.
Yeah. That's usually what I do. So I think he places in D3. Or C4 maybe. D3 or C4, I'd go for it. Oh, he's going to the other side. I wonder if David just moves. There we go. Well, it's just a bit safer, isn't it? He could try and threaten to get 3 in a row, but it's easy to block. So that is a guaranteed block. You don't just put it next to the purple one, but you're not blocking up the centre of the board. So you're just definitely stopping and moving it along. But because David, to get the purple there, has to move the blue twice and then move the purple in. That's 3 moves. That's too many to waste. So the other possibility he's got at some point is to move the and that's a guaranteed block again. But yeah. So that's a double threat. Can you see that black?
Yep, it could go to
which is what he's done.
Column 7. I've had another blue. Yeah.
And David's playing very fast. He'll slow down later on. You can see last game that they actually almost both used it all their time.
Yes.
Because you might as well use it if you've got it. And towards the end, Order's just got many more options than Chaos has. So.
Yeah. 4 blues already on this though.
Yeah, I think Paca's been lucky here. 3 purples, 4 blues.
That's lucky.
Unlucky, sorry, apologies, I misspoke. Just if you've just tuned in, Paco Garcia de la Banda, my commentator from last year, my friend, is doing very well. He is 4-0 up. He's won 4 matches. Everyone else has lost at least one. He's playing the 3-time defending champion, David Jameson. David Jameson won the last 3 years. Last year, he lost 1 match last year, but ended up coming back to win anyway because no one went undefeated. With the standard of players in this event, it's super hard to go undefeated. But we've got a list of some of the other people in the event. Who's got 3 or more wins?
So 3 or more wins. We have David Jameson, James Heppel,
who we played last match.
Demis Hassabis, Kuno Koch, and Noah Concepcion Martinez.
Yeah, so Noah is a Spanish junior, one of Paco's proteges. She's doing very well this championship. She's won. She won blockers, and I think she came second in corridor.
Yeah,
I think she's doing very well. We've seen her already. So those are the people looking to try and get a medal. Anyone outside that place has lost at least 2. So those 6 players, Paco and the 5 mentioned players, looking to try and share 3 medals between them, we imagine. Demis Hassabis, you mentioned, he is the 5-time Pentamind winner. Indeed. He has won more than anyone else. He's also won this event, potentially, Entropy, more than anyone else. I think it's one of his strongest events, actually.
Right, okay.
So James Heppel beat Demis Hassabis, so well done, James. I think he was slightly shocked. It's not an event James preps for. He's just a very good all-round player.
Yeah.
So this is I mean, Paco's just been unlucky here.
Is this the nightmare scenario? Is drawing 2 of the one colour over?
So he's
again?
giving, he's not decided yet. So your move's not over until you press the timer, I think. But what he's fearful of is this purple in E2 going down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because then you're also threatening the purple in D5 down to the bottom for 8 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was a double threat again, if you notice.
Yeah, it could go to G7.
And then the blues can match up. Yep. I think Paco puts this white where the last one was. Because no, he's stopping that move. Okay. And now he's going to stop potentially the 3 blues potentially. Is that green he's got?
He's got a green, yeah.
So he can't stop that. I think David potentially takes 3 blues. Now, I gave you this situation in the game we played. I gave you some stuff in the centre. Should you take it? What's the danger of taking the points in the centre?
Is that you completely split the board and you don't have any manoeuvrability. I've learned that now the hard way.
Yeah. So it's an interesting question. How many points would you need to be offered for you to voluntarily block the centre by scoring the points? Like,
it's got to be more than 5. It's got to be 8 at least.
Well, that's 7. If you move the blue across, that's 7. So I don't know whether David's going to do that. He's thinking about it because he's got he's currently worth 5 points,
and he's already scoring a lot of points early on. Yeah.
He's also, I think, so he's now threatening to move the white. The biggest threat is the white across the bottom. Yeah, so Paco's blocked that. I think now it's a bit better to move the blue from D2 to D3 because then you can move the purple down and join the other purple.
Yeah. And that'll be worth 7 points across.
Yeah.
There are 2 rows.
So you're not gaining 7 because you've already got 5. If you leave them where they are, it's 5. So you're gaining 2. But the potential that if you can kind of sandwich them in with 2 of the same colour, you can get a lot more, or just another purple. Any more questions on Facebook?
Yes, we have Charlotte Levy is rooting for David. The last placement on that last portion of the game on 1 second.
So when David was chaos, he had 1 second left. Losing in time, Charlotte isn't as bad as it is in some of the other games. Charlotte is David's girlfriend, so she's rooting him on. So good luck to David from Charlotte. She's wishing you well. I'm sorry, I'm a Paco man at heart here, I'm afraid.
And Dikun on YouTube learned to play Entropy in the very first Mind Sports Olympiad. he was taught by the original MSO Games director, David Pritchard. And so he was scoring 30 and 50 points and was very happy with that, and Pritchard wasn't exactly impressed by that.
So he thought Chaos scored points at the end of the game. Order's trying to break him up. All right. So there is the purple. You can't back out. Can't let the purple from C7 to C1. No, so Paco's blocked it. So when you're looking at moving the purple all the way across, Paco's blocked it with the green one, and there are two good places to put the green. One's better than the other, and the rest are bad. If you put that green anywhere else on row C, David just moves the green up or down, whichever's best for him, and kind of double threats you. If you put it in C1, you're not blocking anything, but he's put it in C2, which is the best place to put it, because now you've got that safe space in C1 if you ever need it.
Yeah.
To put something that you really don't want. I think not only has Paco drawn a lot of some colours out, he's only got one yellow. So a bit like some of the other games.
Yeah,
It'll always
happen
like this. It will always happen. You just can't get the perfect draw. You can't always draw the colour that's the safest for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's threatening this purple across. So Paco's going to put that yellow. I would put it B4, I think.
So with that threat of so many yellows going to be coming out in the late game, where do you start to place the yellows? Do you like?
I like the one in F1. I think you don't put the yellows in the middle if there's a lot not come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to kind of put a few safe to start with, so that when you get your next ones, you just put them far away.
Yeah, just in the corners, isolated.
Yeah, I don't think you can let David set them up. Now, that's easy said and done, because sometimes there's no good place to put things.
Yeah.
And if there's not many yellows out, yellows are like your one saving grace, the one thing. And if you're using it to block someone else, is a bit restricted as well. So if you're not just putting it somewhere safe for the sake of it, you're using it to block. Now, Paco's trying to block B7 to C7, but he can't because he's drawn a black. So David's now going to score 14. Actually, the black would have scored David fewer points, but I think Paco's just put the black in the centre of the board to start blocking some of the things up a bit.
Okay.
So he could have put the black there, but then David would get what's called like a free move. Paco's kind of scored David's points for him, and then David can move something more advantageous to himself.
I see.
If you've got any questions at home for Entropy or Ryan or myself, you please add them to either YouTube or Facebook. We're live on both platforms. So please do that. We'll answer them as best we can. It can be about anything, Mind Sports Olympiad related, Entropy related. Ryan runs on Tabletop.
Well, I work on tabletop.com.
Obviously, so anything about that as well. And this evening we've got a backgammon expert coming in, Julia, who's going to be with Ryan, commentating on the 6-round best of one backgammon. It's like the relaxing backgammon session after the big heavy event they've got today. So Julia will be there. If you've got any backgammon related questions, save it for then, but we will be back at 7:30.
Yes, 7:30. And she is a master?
She is a master.
A master, so.
Master at backgammon, not master.
Oh, that's true.
So David's finally got those blues. He's scoring those blues now.
It came to the point where the board, the kind of southern half of the board is already filling up, so there wasn't going to be a lot of maneuverability, so he may as well have scored that.
I think you're right, yeah.
Okay.
He did have column 3 free until he just moved 2 pieces into it, so...
Yeah.
Paco's very kindly, so like on some of the players who keep it in the hand, Paco very kindly puts the colour he's thinking of placing on the corner of the board.
He knows we're watching.
Yeah, thank you, Paco. And I will tell you now that David Jameson went home early yesterday, played an event and went home early, and he watched 4 hours with the commentary from Entropy last year in preparation for today. I think it's his strongest event comparative to anyone else. He's won it 3 times in a row and placed highly elsewhere. In fact, we said earlier that only Andres Kusk and David Jameson have won Entropy in the last 7 years.
Yeah, since 2012.
Yeah.
If David Jameson beats Paco here, going into round 6, David has the advantage.
Yes, if David
yeah.
goes 5-1, he will. The first tiebreak will be if you've most wins, and if that ties, so if someone else is on 5-1,
Yep, you would.
it will go to who else you've played,
Yep.
and so it will only matter if David wins and Paco wins his next match, because then they'll both be on 5-1. There probably won't be anyone else on 5-1,
Yep.
and David will have beaten Paco.
Yes.
But if David beats Paco and then Paco loses for some reason, then David might be 5-1 with someone else who beat him. So if James Heppel goes 5-1, that's bad for David Jameson.
Yeah.
Because James Heppel beat him. Actually, I don't know who beat David Jameson. I think it was Demis. It was Demis, wasn't it? I think Demis beat him. So again,
Yep.
we were having lunch. We were catching up from our morning session, so we don't quite know.
I think David Jameson beat Andres Kusk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Demis beat David. All right. So I actually think that this is bad for Paco. I think David Jameson still has, at this stage of the game, better manoeuvrability. A lot more yellows coming out. I think the colour balance is a bit fairer. There's 3 reds, 3 greens, 2 yellows, 2 blacks. So I think there's a better spread of colours in Paco's favour here.
Yeah.
But there's still 3 greens coming out, and look at that spot at the top.
Yeah, at the top or at the bottom, it's not great.
So
would you maybe pop it in?
I think David's doing exactly what Paco did against James Heppel, putting himself favourable for green.
Spot like E2 is probably best for one of your greens, but if you're Paco, but then where else are you going to put that last green?
I think you need to start blocking the potential to put greens on the top there on the bottom row. You can't put this. He's got a black. I don't think you can risk putting the black in the bottom section because it can be added to all those blacks and white. So that's just got David another 8 points where he's moved that white. He shouldn't do that because David's going to move the purple across. I think the purple across scores him even more from D1 to D2. I think I might have to double check that. So currently the purple's scoring him 8, and in that column he's scoring 11. If he moves the purple across, he scores 22 versus nothing. So 8 and 11. It's only 3 points.
Oh, okay.
It's only 3 points. But once you move the purple across, you can technically move the blue down. It's got a bit more. But, so the purple across is only actually a gain of 3. That would be in column 2, where it goes purple, white, potentially purple, white, purple, white.
Would you take that? +3?
If I haven't got a better move, yes.
Yeah.
It also threatens the blue down, which gets me another 3. And then if they let me do the blue down, I can do the yellow down for another 3. He's done it, yeah. So it's gains in 3 points. It looks like an excellent row, and it is an excellent column. It scores 22 points, but you already had 8.
Paco's just drawn a purple.
Okay, well, so you can't block the blue across. Well, this is fine. The purple's not too bad. You can use the purple to kind of block some of the potential bad places for green. So I wonder whether you put the purple in the bottom section, I think. Okay. So David, I imagine, moves E1 to D1, unless there's a better move there.
So he's with that move, Paco is trying to split that that last northern section.
So, yeah. I think the southern section is the one you worry about now because there's still 3 greens in the bag and some reds as well. So the greens and reds are going to score well because all the current greens and reds are near the spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I do that. And I think if I get another move, I move F1 to E1. What's he drawn, do you know?
Black.
Black. So you can't put the black in E1 because it scores 3. I think it's the last black, isn't it? And there's no whites left, so I think you put the black in the bottom section.
You think so? Well, I suppose it would take...
I would put it in A6, I would. Because David can't threaten to add the black round because there's everything Paco can draw can block it.
Yeah.
There's no more blacks and there's no more whites.
Okay, yeah. So there's just no point for David to move that black. He's got to look for him.
Yeah, there's not. So I think he just moves. F1 to E1.
Yeah, yellow down.
potentially. It gets him 3. He could move E3 to F3, the yellow up. It doesn't actually matter. If he does that, then those greens score more points when they go there. But I think I'd probably move them there. So what he really wants to do as well, I don't know if you notice, there is... he could move the red in G4 down 1, which gets him 8.
Because he's only getting a 6 from that row in G, isn't he?
Yeah, but the red itself only gets him 3. If he moves the red out of the way, he's only getting, of the 6, he'll get 3.
Yeah.
So if he moves the red from G4 down 1, I'm not sure if he spotted it or whether he's choosing not to do it.
That's +5, it would be.
Yeah, it would gain him 5 points. It fragments his position a bit more. Because there's still 2 reds and 3 greens. Paco, the blue will score 3 points in any F place apart from column 6, where we'll score him 2. What's he drawn? He really needs to. Yeah, he really needs to get some of these greens and reds out of the way now. I think he put the green in. Yeah, he's blocking that move down now. So David's missed his opportunity to score that. I don't know if he was seeing something else. I think David just moves G5 to F5 now. Okay, close. I'm getting better. Yeah, block that. You've got to block that. David moves G6 to E. So this is where David's very good. This is where last year I struggled to predict anything David was going to do. He just made much better moves than I was suggesting. Right, so the way is 2 greens, 2 reds. Is that purple? I think the purple...
That is the last purple.
Yeah, I think the purple could go in G6. Purple could go in G6, actually. Yeah. And now there's 2 reds, 2 greens, and a... 2 reds, 2 greens, and a yellow. Okay, 2 reds, 2 greens, and a yellow. So as David, 2 reds, 2 greens, and a yellow, what would you do? One possibility is you move G1 down. It's got you 4 points.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like Paco's done really well in locking up this late game.
I think he's done... I think, looking at the 2 games, David did very well as Chaos early on, and then Paco became better and better and got away with some things. And I think this way has been the other way around. I think David started very strongly, and then Paco's kind of caught back up.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be close then with the scoring? There's not a lot of
I think
incredibly
it will be close.
high
I think it will be close.
Mm.
Close enough to say that I can't call it.
I don't know as much about Entropy. I'm going to say Paco will edge it by 1.
92 would win most high-level matches, I think. So when I saw David Jameson play Andres Kusk last year, he restricted Andres very well, but at the end of this, he accelerated and scored very well. His last 3 moves just got him 6 and then 4 and then 6 and so on. And this is the point of the game where David's now just figuring out what's coming. He might think he can do it early. He's been conscious of what's left and left himself in general positions, but there's been too many permutations. I know there's only 5 places Pac-Man can put things, but there's only 3 colours that can come out.
Yes. They both still have quite a bit of time left for these last few moves, so they'll take their time.
Yeah. I think this is going to be very close, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. There's a potential in 2 moves. If you go B6 to B7, and if Paco doesn't draw a green, because he'll put a green in that, and the gaps down the bottom, the greens are safe. So you need to make it. You need to kind of bank on Paco not drawing a green, because greens are going down that bottom section. And then you could move B5 to B6 and gets you 8 points. I think Paco would spot that. The other possibility is the one we saw is G1 to G1 to F1. So the green going down one space,
Yeah, okay.
which will get you 4 points but lose you 3. So it only gains a point.
But then if you draw, what would you look to draw? Another green?
Yeah, but red score now. A red doesn't score you anything
Yeah.
in F1, but a red scores you something in E1, and Packer won't put a green there.
Mm-hmm.
Or a yellow, because a yellow will score 3. So I think that's potentially the best move. I think then whatever colour goes in G1 that David draws out later will score you some points. Currently, if Packer draws a red, he can safely put it in F1, and it won't score David anything. So I think that's the move I'm making. He's a much better player than me. He's the world champion 3 times running concurrent. So he might spot it. I think that's the move I'd make. I think I'd move G1 to F1. I think the bottom corner is where the greens are going to go, and then the reds are going to go up the top.
Yeah, of course, looking at any of the other possible moves from the row of G, there's nothing you would bring down.
Yeah, I think G1 to F1 guarantees whatever. If Paco draws a yellow next, it's guaranteed to score 3. Okay? Oh, unlucky Paco. He drew the 1 yellow left, so he can't block B5 to B6. So he's going to use it to... I would put it in F1, to be honest.
We'll gain 2 points.
Well, the other
but it's only 2
possibility...
points.
Actually, the other possibility is to put it in F5, because then you block the red, blue, blue, red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 3 points.
Yeah, he's blocking the blue up. Green doesn't score anything. He's blocking the blue up.
Yep.
Now, in the bottom corner, A7, although David's gained 8 points here, A7 is now no good for either of the colours. Green or red there, scores nothing. So I think you move G1 to F1 now. Come on, David, do something I've said. Please.
So 1 green and 1 red, is it to come?
Yeah, he didn't do that. What did he do? He moved the
moved
yellow
the
across,
yellow
just to
across.
score 3 points. He's put the red there, so the red doesn't score anything. So, now I know what he's doing. There's a danger that if Paco's last piece is green, David can move G5 down 1 and put the green in that space. Because then that would score 14.
Yep.
on the top row.
He's also scored, David, he's also moved into a lot of 3s. Just low scoring, but almost every
adds up.
move. Yeah.
It's not so. If you can make sure every row scores you some points, you're doing well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a row that doesn't score anything. Is there a column that doesn't score anything? Yeah, the first column doesn't score anything, but he destroyed that to get 22 in the second column.
Yes.
We're joined by Andres Kusk. Andres, did you win match 5?
Yes, I won match 5, but it's too little too late.
Yeah. So Andres is on 3 and 2. He did win match 5, but he's lost to 2 very good players, I think. Who you lost to? David and James Heppel. So for those watching at home, Paco scored 9-2 first time round. Dave Jameson is thinking of his penultimate move. He's looking to potentially get a green in G5. There is 1 green and 1 red left in the bag. If you can get a green in G5 somehow, that will score him 14 instead of 6. That will gain him 8 points. And whichever.
Yep. And he's
Yeah, so Paco needs to save that for the red. And then he moves the yellow back up, and then the red goes in the gap.
and gives him the 6. Very nice.
Yeah, it forces him. That's the right way around to play it. I think he moves the yellow back up from F5 to E5, and then that red will score him an extra 4 points. Oh. No, it scores him an extra 8.
course.
He's good. I know it. And another 6. How good's that? Do you see what I mean? Do you
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. David's
That was really well done.
end game. I think he might have snuck it there. I tell you what, I'm going to let them score. I'm not going to do it this time.
Would you like to interview Andres?
Yeah, have we had an interview with you yet? Yeah, we can have an interview with Andres. Yeah, I'll have a quick chat with him. While he's here, if he's going to come in this room, he's in danger of being talked to. Andres, how you doing?
Not that good anymore.
So this is Andres Kusk. He is the current leader in the Pentaman standings. I don't know if you've seen the current standings, but you are currently first still, slightly ahead of Martin in second place. How do you feel?
Yeah, officially I'm leading, but I feel that after today's disaster, I'm definitely not the favorite.
Okay, because you thought you'd need a good score from Entropy to win the whole
Yes,
thing.
yes, I kind of expected to get a good score in Entropy and Lines of Action, which would have put me into something like 490 potentially. But now I absolutely need to win Lines of Action and probably also need to get lucky in poker.
Or Carcassonne? You a Carcassonne player as well?
I'm not making Carcassonne as it clashes with poker, so
Okay.
I had to choose one of them.
Okay.
But maybe if I'm going to drop out soon in poker, then I can play Carcassonne.
if you can join in.
This is a backup chance.
Yeah. So not going so well for you today, but overall, the Estonians doing pretty well.
Yes, I'm really satisfied with how Estonians are doing, especially yesterday, because we got 3 goals yesterday, and all of them were kind of unexpected. Because we were actually also doing great in the previous days, but these were all our kind of trump aces and the events that we expected to do well. But yesterday it was a lot better than planned. We did not expect to do that well yesterday, so we, as a team, we are really, really happy with how the things are going. This just shows that our preparation has gone well. Definitely. And we have arrived here in our top form, and everything is going smoothly.
Just for your reference, Andres is from Estonia. He brings a team over every year, and in the overall standings, the top 5 people, 4 of them are Estonian. So that's an amazing achievement, given you're coming all this way, and all that effort you're putting in is showing. So well done to you there. It looks like the final scores are there. We can see that David Jameson, Paco is double checking. David Jameson has pipped Paco by 3 points. I wonder if we just want to replay that last move that David did. There was 2 moves down there where he managed to squeeze that red in G6, which we did not spot. The red in G6 scores him 11 points.
That's quite crazy. 95, 92.
Yeah.
One doesn't see such kind of scores too often, especially on top level, because on top level the scores tend to be a little bit lower. Something like 85, 82 would be more.
So you've got to be comfortable getting a score of 90 most of the time, but maybe not against David Jameson.
Yes, that's true. I think he's the best player as an order, and also he's really, really good as a chaos. So I'm a little bit surprised that he allowed Paco to score 92. But Paco is also like supremely good in as order mainly. So
I've noticed at the end of every David Jameson game, I'm like, he just scores 10 more points than I'm expecting him to. Right near the end, he does that little thing.
Yes, it was actually the same in the game against me. I thought that I'm doing pretty well until the mid game or something like that. But in the end, things went completely out of control. He just managed to get all the lines working for him and just scored a lot of points.
He is a 3-time defending champion for a reason. So anyway, it looks like you're going to be back soon. So Andres, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
I hope you do well in Lines of Action tomorrow. We won't be having that on air, but if you want to come and watch him in play, you're welcome to walk into him and watch people doing it. So best of luck for you tomorrow, and good luck to Estonia. So we can see with 1 match to go, we now have 2 people who have won 4 and lost 1. That is David Jameson and Paco Garcia de la Banda. So well done to those 2. There are going to be at least a couple of others potentially who have got 4 wins, 1 loss. And if it goes to a final, any tie breaks, it will be based on the result between the players first and foremost. So if Paco and David win their last matches, then David's going to win the gold again.
That's happy times for Charlotte Levy. She thanks us for the lovely commentary. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. This time next year, if you're watching David on your day off before the event, well played.
And from Dakun on YouTube, he's imagining Ray Winston inviting us all to bet in play on Entropy. Are there? Do you know on the topic of playing Entropy online? Do you know of any Entropy AIs?
I do not.
No.
What we can do is I will potentially nip out at some point and ask Paco what website he uses to play David Jameson Entropy. In fact, I'm going to do that now because those people watching at home might want to know that before the last round starts. I'm going to nip out. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to leave you with the lovely Ryan.
Song and dance time. Chris Fung isn't here to do a song and dance, so I will have to fill in that role. Oh dear. So, if you're joining us for the first time, leave us a comment down below on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook, or on YouTube. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We're just finished round 5 of Entropy. We're going into the final round 6. So there will be 2 players at least 2 players in 4 and 1. So that will be. That'll be 2 players we just saw, Paco de la Banda, David Jameson, and we might see from some... yes, we do. We have the latest scores. There they are. So, there are 4 players on 4 and 1. We have David Jameson, we have Paco de la Banda, James Heppel, and Kuno Koch. And then on 3 and 1, we have Andres Kusk, Martin Hamer, Noah Concepcion Martinez, Peter Horlock, and Demis Hassabis. So it's a pretty packed field in both in vying for gold medal and for silver and bronze. So if you stick with us for round 6, the final round, we'll see who is going to be playing off against each other. So as I said, leave us a comment down below on YouTube or on Facebook. We'll get round 6 on the go soon enough. We're just waiting for the players to have a quick break and then they'll get right back to it. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think of the Entropy commentary, or if there's any games that you're looking forward to. Later on at 7:30 we have Backgammon. That's 6.1, I believe they're playing. I will be joined by a backgammon master, Julia. So I'll be learning lots about backgammon during those 2.5 hours. Then we won't be streaming on Friday or Saturday, but we will have, as you see on Sunday, we will have Chess 960 at the UK Championship. That will be starting at 12, and then we'll have Colour Chess from 5 p.m. till 6:30, and then Carcassonne at 7:30 on Sunday. So it's a really packed day, a couple of great chess variants. Chess 960 in particular is quite popular, and Colour Chess sounds pretty insane. So it's like you cannot move, you have to move your piece on the piece that you move in Colour Chess, Steve, must be on the colour that your opponent moved to.
Yeah, so you get 2 moves in Colour Chess. Regular chess rules in terms of how you win the game and how you capture and stuff like that, but you get 2 goes. The first piece you have to move has to be on a colour that your opponent landed on their second move. So they might have landed on yellow. So my turn, I'm going to use this pawn on yellow, and then I'm going to move my queen onto this red space, which means they have to move from a red space, if that makes sense.
Yep. In the streets, it's also known as discotheque chess.
Well, do you have to move to a red space? I can't remember now. I think it's from.
We'll certainly. Yeah, well.
I think it's from. It's from.
Yeah. And then that's the Sunday, and then on Monday we have the Azul Championship, the Agricola Championship, and then the award ceremony. So be sure to return on the Sunday and Monday to check out more from the Mind Sports Olympiad. But you can also check back on the Facebook page and the live standings for the Pentamind on the Mind Sports Olympiad website as well.
Okay, we're back to the final match in the Entropy tournament. I have some news for people looking for places to play at home. There are 2 places that David plays Paco online. So David obviously he's Welsh or he's British, and he plays Paco, and Paco is from the Canary Islands. So they play online, and there are 2 websites. One of them is minduko.com, minduko.com, and that's the English version. And the version they actually play on is the Estonian version of the website is vint.ee. So if you're looking to play Entropy and probably some other games on those sites, don't know what's there, but that's what David Jameson, the 4-time or 3-time defending champion, says that's why he plays. So we're going to go to a view of the last match. I've been told we're getting, or soon we're going to go to a view of the last match. I've been told that we have got David Jameson, who we just saw beat Paco, against James Heppel. And I've been speaking to a lot of players, and a lot of players kind of not shocked, but like surprised that given Paco scored 92, they ended up losing. They said that Paco's so good at playing chaos and defending a score as big as 92 is surprising that he could manage to do that.
You were saying in the interview with Anders Kusk, those last couple moves by David Jameson to score those 11 points were amazing.
Yeah, he's just so good at the end. And in fact, I wonder if we could go back and maybe just the last 2 moves, if Paco could have put them in a different way round, whether David would have scored as many as he did.
3 points, that's
very
insane. There's 4 players on 4 wins.
So who have we got? We've got David Jameson and James Heppel, we can see here.
Paco de la Banda and Kuno Koch.
Now, I think Paco and Kuno have played each other, actually.
So would they'd be paired down?
I think they've both been paired down. Okay. I think Kuno is playing Andres. I don't know who Paco's playing. Martin Hamer's a good player, could be playing Noah. Oh, if he's playing Noah, then you've got 2 Spanish and 2 Estonian players playing each other.
I'd love to see that that dynamic play out on the tabletop.
And you've got 2 British players here at the final here. David Jameson's Welsh, and James Heppel lives in Manchester, and he's English. So we've seen both these players already today. We saw James lose to Paco in round 4, and we saw David Jameson beat Paco in round 5. So sadly, we don't see Paco again. Good luck to Paco in his last match. But the winner of this will definitely get a medal. And based on the results of the matches and tie breaks, may also be in a position to win gold. Apologies, the winner of this will guarantee... will he be guaranteed gold or silver? I don't know. Probably they'll be guaranteed a medal because Paco and Kuno could win, and there could be 3 players on 5.
Now, given how close that last game is, can you draw a game of Entropy?
I've never seen it, but I think you can.
Really? Okay.
I think if you've got identical scores, you draw. I don't think there's the tiebreak in the game. I've never seen it. There's no draws in this year's event. I didn't think there were any last year event, but I think you can get draws. So we're going to see James is drawn a 3rd black one here.
On the subject of Entropy AI, the man to ask would be Demis Hassabis.
Yeah, that would be good.
Would be great. Yeah, he's playing in the event himself.
How's he doing?
He is on 3-2. I think he lost his 5th round match.
So we just don't want Paco to be playing Demis, really. Because that could, if Paco's been paired down against Demis, that would be really harsh for him, I think. To be paired down against someone as good as Demis. Oof.
Yeah.
So that means Kuno must have beaten Demis if he just lost.
Yeah.
So well done, Kuno. Yeah. Kuno's another one of the Estonian contingent doing the best Entropy this year. But yeah, you can see, just speaking to Andres a sec ago about exactly how much it means to him, you could clearly see that he was disappointed in how he's doing, that in fact he can't score highly in this, an event that is a double session event that he's put a lot of time into. Is a bit disappointing for him. So good luck at him at poker. He'll do well at lines of action. He's one of the best 2 players at lines of action that I know of. I think him or James Heppel are very, very decent and consistent at it. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's have a look here. So David's just currently pushing colours of a similar nature to the edge. It's a blue that James has got. It's not ideal. Yeah,
it feels like James is getting not as lucky as last game.
It
but
happens. Yeah. I think he just moves E. Yeah, that's. I would have moved that up. Oh, this is actually decent because he's setting the blue to B2 and the red to E. Apologies, the blue from B2 to G2 and the red from E3 to G3.
It's also quite an early split. Seems to be as if it could happen. How in James's position, how do you further that?
Well, I mean, you could sacrifice points. So in there, he could have put that yellow in F4, and that would threaten to block down the middle. But in doing so, would allow David to move the red from E3 to G3. So James decided to block that, move the red.
Yeah. In the last year of playing Entropy, do you think it's worth sacrificing early points if you can secure cutting off the board? Yeah.
There's obviously a limit to how many points you can sacrifice and what sort of pattern you give them in the middle.
Yeah.
And it obviously depends what you draw out. But yeah, I'm happy to sacrifice like 3 of a kind in the middle. Yeah, you can have that 3 of a kind as long as you block that way, so I can have 2 sections to play in.
Do you think, with a player of the caliber of David Jameson, do you think it matters if you cross that off that much? Like, is it?
He probably generally won't let you do that. And sometimes you might offer him some points and he goes no and move him to the side. So he's got all the colours out now. And he's doing. So David Jameson will keep rows free. So notice if James gets like a block in the middle, he might be able to put. So he could put this in D5. It's hard for David to move those out of the way. He's created like a block in the middle. He could also put this in C4 or C3. But the danger of putting it there is that if David can move it to row 6. Ooh. He was stopping the purple across. I did not see that. The purple going across into column 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've always got to watch it now that David can potentially make a double threat if he can move the yellow from A2 upwards to threaten something, nothing at the moment, something. Then it also threatens the purple across the bottom.
Yeah.
The other thing David could do is just, if he's got nothing else to do, is just to move the yellow in A5 across 1.
Yeah.
He's going to move the red up if nothing else happens, I think.
Where would you place this yellow? You wouldn't try and increase the kind of divide in that center?
I think I'd put it in. I'd be slightly aggressive and put it in D2. If he puts it anywhere else, there's David could just move it to like column 6.
Yeah.
So I think no, you can't put it in D2 because then David just moves A2 to A1. There's no good place to put it, to be honest. So David at some point can move that to column 6 and threaten. Problem is, with so many yellows already come out, there's probably too many yellows, not enough yellows left in the bag to make it a good chance. I tell you what is a good move. David can move G3 down 1. Yeah, that's what's well. So and then he's threatening 3 blues at the top, or
yes,
the yellow up. Now James
F2.
can't block the yellow, so he's probably just going to put this in the gap at G3. But then he's also got to block the purple from A3 across. So if James puts it there, David moves the yellow up to F2. Okay. You've now got to block 2 things, James. I think that was a mistake. You've got to block 2 things now.
And he's just pulled out a blue.
Yeah, so he can't block the blue. He's got to block A1 now. I think that was a mistake. I think I would have put the yellow in G3. Again, James Heppel is a much better games player than me, although I have played Entropy a lot. I think I would have blocked that because you could see it coming. He was still threatening. David was still threatening 2 things. He's actually taken the safer points now because at the moment that gains him more points. That gains him 4. Moving the blue from G4 to G3 gains him only 2 points.
Yeah. It's not a matter of damage control for James Heppel. It's trying to make sure everything's cut off.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to make a column. Again, the danger with the red is that you can just move it. He could move it 1 space across and see what happens. I think he does that. Maybe he just moves it one across, or he just takes the blue points.
Yeah. We've got a good question from Charlotte Levy again. Steve, is there any benefit to playing either order or chaos first? Is there any psychology in the order of play?
Charlotte, that's great. I think if you know, so if I know how good my opponent is and know they're better at one than the other, I might be tempted to make them play the one they are the worst first, so that either their score is low and they're a bit unconfident, or that my score is high. So if I think they're bad at playing chaos, I'll be order first. If they're bad at playing order, I'll be chaos first. So you might want your stronger matchup first, so you know kind of what score to either beat or defend. I don't think especially if your level at both is the same, I don't think it matters necessarily which you play, but potentially from your opponent's point of view, they can get rattled if it looks like you've started off really well. So if they're very good at chaos, but you get you give them a really low score to start with, they might underperform and things like that. That's a great question, actually, in two-player games. If you both have to kind of switch at some point, what do you think you do? In tennis, do you serve first or let them serve first? Because I know Roger Federer always serves first.
That's interesting. Yeah, I suppose I suppose it depends set-wise. Like, would you rather warm up, like in the first set, and kind of serve second?
Or take a lead.
Yeah, exactly, so that you can breathe a bit easier in the second set.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's an interesting question. Thank you for that, Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't think it's clear-cut, and I think in this particular tournament, it's predetermined as to whether you play first or second. But if I had the choice sometimes, I think, personally, if I wanted to win anyway, I would play the side my opponent is weakest at rather than that I'm strongest at. I think James is, given how good David's late game is, I think James is doing pretty poor here. He's surely got to put this green in C2. Yeah, and David's just going to move it to, like, yeah, he's going to move to. That's okay. I mean, that's okay. He puts that in C2.
You'd still put it in C2. Well, it's because it's only 2 points.
I think so. And then David just moves D3 to D2. Sorry, D3 to E3. I think so. I think it's just, yeah, because the issue with that is you've also got this other red one here on B5.
Yes, and that could be moved to B6.
Yeah. Or now B2 could go down one and the red can go in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think if David moves B2 down one. But he's very good. I don't know what he's going to do. I think he's going to play it around with the reds and greens in the bottom corner. You can see David on the left and James on the right. James, a two-time Pentamind winner. Probably one of the most consistent across all the games he plays, I think, James.
We were talking to him earlier at lunch, and he's been coming to the Mind Sports Olympiad since he was a child. So that's pretty cool to see that he's been here for so long and now competes and has won it a couple of times, the main competition.
Won the whole thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't prepare too much. He just turns up and plays his best across lots of events. And so there are events he's good at and they can win at, but like there might not be an event he's the clear favourite in, but he just does so well across the board that he's hard to beat.
For next year, are you hoping to get to play in the Entropy event like that?
It was it was the one event that if I could choose not to commentate on, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it's my favourite event, but I will give it a go one year. Florian Germain is his Facebook messaged me. He wants me to enter Twixt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says, Steve, your analysis is very good. I'm like, yeah, after they've moved.
After they've moved and after we've had a few comments from Florian himself.
So like my commentary, it's easy. Oh, that's a good move. Yeah, well, yeah, after they've done it. But in Entropy, I feel like, maybe not David, because David seems to be a step up, but Entropy, it feels like I can actually predict some of the moves.
You could definitely take a few games.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's really bad when you're trying to block up space and you feel like, I can't put this anywhere, let's put it in this corner.
Yeah. Because as you say, you're always trying to lock up.
Yeah, it's a very passive move. You understand, though, that any white can't go in c4 or b4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awful. Anything but a red. Because David's going to threaten b5 to c5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you put this. I think maybe you just put it in d5. Okay, that's okay. It doesn't actually lose anything. So David gets 5.
Okay.
Then. Anything but a red. Like a white would have been bad, but like a red's just even worse.
Yeah. So there's 2 whites still to come. Would you move? I was just about to say a2 to a3, but that's been blocked. Not necessarily.
I would potentially have moved down e6 first.
Okay.
I would have done that first, I think, rather than moving it across. The other possibility you can have now is to move c3 down 1 and threaten some more green stuff. Or apologies, up 1. c3 to d3.
Yep.
You threaten 3 greens. There's still 3 greens left in the bag. So in terms of like moves that could get you a high upside. Yeah, so I think to draw a black, is that?
Yep.
And there's 4 blacks left as well. The good news is there's a lot of safe places to put blacks.
Yeah.
I think you'd maybe put it in d3. It's very passive because it's not blocking anything, but the danger of all those greens being there. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think David's got a very high scoring position here. Another black one. I think maybe you pop this in b3 to stop you moving the blue up.
Yeah.
Is this making you want to find an entropy set and play back in Northern Ireland?
Very much so. Yeah, I'd love to introduce this to a few friends. But even more so, I'd actually like to see if there's a good AI and just play a few games against the AI. And I might actually go to some of those websites and play against the likes of David Jameson. And
I'll give you a game.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll give you a game.
I'd love to play against David and see how many I could lose to. Like, what could be the score differential in that game?
You can see that though Paco and David doing so well in this event. James probably hasn't played since last year. But Paco and David playing so much online against each other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like the only person that can beat Paco has been David.
Yeah.
And Andres, I was speaking to Martin Herbermagi earlier, and he says Andres just plays hundreds more games. He says, I'm not going to enter Entropy because I've not got a chance of winning it. That's why he played Twixt.
Yeah.
He thought there might be a slight chance of winning it without Florian being here, but that did not come to pass.
It's interesting how fidgety James is with the pieces. But yeah, he is very relaxed when you talk to him about Mind Sports Olympiad.
When he's concentrating, his leg bounces. I don't know if you see, if you go in the table, his leg's bouncing. He's kind of, it's not nervous energy. He's just, yeah.
Hmm.
So no huge scores for David. He's just very consistent.
That's true. There are a lot of there's a lot of
Sixes,
scores have been,
sevens, and
but
eights.
the big 10+ of scores have been
Yeah.
blocked.
I don't think so. I don't think he's got any huge individual palindromes. I think the longest he's got is a 5 in row B. then anything else he's got isn't that score. So I think he's going to score well, but maybe not huge.
Just through lots of little scores.
Yeah, but I mean, the end. He's got such a strong end game.
Yeah.
I think James is going to watch it because there is a move E7 down one.
I was just looking at the, pardon me, column 7.
E7.
Yeah, if you go.
Oh, also there's the purple. No, there's also C5 to D5, which gets him 8.
D5 to D5.
Gets him purple, red, blue, red, purple on row D.
Oh, for goodness sake, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you go that first, or would you threaten?
I would move the yellow first.
Would you go E7 to D7?
I would go E7 because that scores more points.
Yeah.
So first of all, E7 to D7 will get you 3 and threaten 14.
Yeah.
So James will have to block that unless he draws a black, and
he
then
just
when he
moves.
blocks it, you then move C5 to D5.
Right.
But David Jameson is probably going to do even better than it.
Us mere mortals cannot predict.
I think you'd do that first. I think you, yeah.
Having seen David Jameson a few times playing now, which side do you think he's better at, order or chaos?
Order.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They're good at both.
Obviously, he's good
They're-
at both,
they're-
but his end game in order, particularly, we've seen the last game.
Yeah. Bear in mind, I've only ever seen 2 games he's played.
Yeah.
He played the last game last year where he beat Andres Kusk to win the championship, and the game against Paco where he just had, like, it looked like Paco had stabilised and he was starting to slow him down a bit. And just those last few moves, spotting that. So he's done what we said. He's done what we said.
We were right.
So James has got a purple, so he can't block D5 anyway.
No.
He's got to block that.
Yep.
And then, yeah, there we go.
We called it. We called
We
it,
did.
buddy.
And now that leaves... I don't think you do that, actually. Ignore that. So James has got a white.
Just lots of little individual spots for James to place down on, but as we've seen, David really excels in this end game here. So
Yeah, he's also got 6 minutes. That he will use most of that up.
okay, so what do we have left? So there's 2 purple to come,
Yeah, no reds, no blues.
1 black.
1 black, 1 white, and 3 greens.
So emphasizing on those 3 greens, what would you move to try and capitalize on that, or is there anything that you
If
could?
you can get a green in E7, you're doing very well. So I think at some point you move E7 to F7.
Mhm.
You're trying to free up the potential to get a green now.
Yeah.
And there we
Oh, he
go.
does it
And
right
then
now, yeah.
if James drew a green out, he couldn't block the black.
Mhm.
So James is going to put the white. He should put the white in E7.
Yep.
Yeah, but if James drew a green out, which is about just under 50%, he couldn't put it there, and then David could move the black from E6 to E7 and get 14.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Which I think that's correct with how many greens there were. He had a bit of a think. Obviously, he's going to think a bit more. He's got 5 minutes off. He's going to have like up to a minute for each decision from now on.
Interesting, Florian Germain has joined us again. So he said all of this is not obvious to him because the black piece in E6 is also giving 2 times 3 points. So I guess David did good stuff here. He let the black piece there. He left the black piece there, got the yellow on D7 and the purple on D5. This was the best for him.
I think so. Because, yeah, the black is currently scoring him 6 points on E6.
Mm-hmm.
It just scores him another 9 on E7.
Mm-hmm.
So it only gains him 3. Maybe the purple, maybe that's correct, actually. Maybe the purple on D5 actually gains him more points.
Mm.
So, yeah, well spotted, Florian. Florian came 8th last year in the Pentamind. He's not here this year, but he also won Twixt. So I imagine Florian probably played in the Entropy tournament as well. Because he seems to know his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I appreciate, Florian, you watching today, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
If if you've got any comments and you want us to answer them live, please post them in the Facebook or the YouTube comments from our live streams. You can do anything. Could just be say thanks for the great commentary.
Yeah.
Or, Steve, where's your hair gone? Or
Yeah.
Ryan, why can't we understand you? Or something like that.
Will you read my fan fiction? Probably no to that. Unless it's involving the two of us.
Right, so there are 2 greens.
Yep. And 1 black.
Yeah. There's a green.
And where's the other 1 purple?
Yeah. I actually think.
Oh no, 2 purple.
I actually think this is good for James. I don't see many threatening situations here. It's just going to make sure that the black doesn't go in D6 or thereabouts. I think the last green can go in A5, assuming nothing gets moved. David won't move pieces around the E1 spot, so I think anything's safe there. Maybe not the green, but the and not the purple. So the black could probably go there in E1. But he can't leave it till the end, because if the black's the last piece out, then what David can do, he can move E2 to E1.
Yeah.
And then the black will go there and score black, green, black, green, black. So it depends on the order you pull them out. Maybe it's safer just to put the black in G4, concede 3 points, and not risk losing lots. If you draw the black out, it would go in E1, but you've got to be very careful, because if the black's going to be the last one in the bag, you can't risk putting in E1, because E1 won't be there.
Yeah.
It will be E2.
Green, black, purple. So
As a green, black, purple, and a. Oh dear.
So ideally green and A5.
Oh, is there 2 purples? There's 2 purples.
Yeah.
So I think you put the
Probably
purple.
G4.
I think you put it there. I think the black needs to go. There's 2 places the black
Yes,
can't really
you're
go.
right. Yeah.
What you really want to do is draw the black out next and put it in E1.
Yep.
Because that blocks the 3 purples that are there, and it means that you don't concede points to the black.
Yep.
What we're going to do at the end of this, we're going to have a winner of. We're going to have a chat with the at least the winner of this particular match. We imagine the winner of this match, based on tiebreaks, because they've both played Paco. James has played Demis. David's played Andres. The tiebreaks here would mean whoever wins this probably wins the gold.
Yep.
There will be 2 players on 5 and 1, maybe even 3. But these guys have got very good tiebreaks currently.
So Florian is saying also A4 to A5 is good if black is the last piece. So it could be a very good news for David.
Can we have a look at the board, please? A4 to A5. Yes, that's true. Yes, actually, that's very good. Well spotted, Florian. A4 to A5.
Yeah.
A4 to A5 would give him. Oh God, that would be. That would be 5. That would be 9 points.
Because
That would gain him.
I'm just noticing column 4. That would be great.
Yeah, column 4 is currently only worth 3 points to David, but with a black in the bottom space instead of a yellow, it would be worth 8. And then it would also get on the bottom row black, yellow, yellow. So I think maybe you put this in. I think you put this on the bottom row, don't you?
A5.
And then you put the purple at the top and the black on the left. But you just can't draw the black last. You just can't draw the black last. So you've got to hope. So James has got a chance now. So James really, really wants to draw the black next. Because if he draws the black last, he's going to lose more points. Yeah. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, E1. Sorry.
Yeah, he wants to draw the black and put it in E1. That's what he really wants to do.
Unless, would David move F2 to F1 or E1 or E2 to E1?
He would do if James draws that purple next and puts it in G4. David will move E2 to E1 and score a vastly larger amount of points.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if James draws purple out, he has to put it in E1,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
So what's the better points that you would get? You know, oh no, it's
Purple.
just,
It needs to go in E1. This is where James has. He's got 30 seconds to spot this. Needs to go in E1. He loses in E1. He loses 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't put it in E1, he puts it in G4. He loses nothing. And David moves it now. And there we go. There we go. And he's now going to lose 8.
Yeah.
He loses an extra 8. So that cost him.
Ooh.
That move cost him 4 points. That move at the end there.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So it's much easier for us. We're not thinking about all the other things that's going on. There's 2 of us as well.
Yeah.
And Florian, thank you very much. There's 3 of us.
Thank
Spotting
you.
those moves. But if those 4 points come back to bite James, I don't think he made many mistakes, James.
No, I think at the start it looked as if it was going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, he didn't do so well.
I
There's
think he got
nothing
a
huge.
I think
There's
he got a
nothing huge.
handle on it in kind of the mid to late game.
Yeah.
He really divided the board well.
What I'm going to do in a second, once they've scored and they've started the next match at the early stages, I'm going to nip through. I'm going to let you know the scores in Kuno's match and Paco's match, so we can have an idea of who's potentially going to go 5-1
Yep.
and what the medal situations are. I'm also going to have a look at the tie breaks while we're in that situation. But yeah, what do you think you'd be best at then if you had another game of Entropy, Order or Chaos?
I know I'd be terrible at order. I get too distracted. Look at how pretty everything is. Look at the colours I can connect, and you could just lead me anywhere you wanted. So I think I'd be better at chaos because I'd be so awful at order.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
so you think you wouldn't be good at either. You'd just be worse at order.
I think
right?
so.
You'd be less bad at chaos.
Yes.
Right.
And yet you think you're better at chaos, you were saying?
Compared to the person I play against the most, she's much worse at chaos than I am.
Ah, yeah.
Whether I am better at order than chaos, I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm probably better at chaos, actually. I think. It's weird because you think they've got the same techniques, spotting patterns and blocking them, or
Yeah.
spotting patterns and threatening them. I'm like,
Yeah, true, the spotting
but
patterns.
you still have to spot patterns. You still think, well, he could go there, so let's block it. He's threatening that, so let's block it. Or, what can I threaten? There's a pattern I can threaten, let's move it. So, like, the skills are very similar, but it's drastically different once you start playing.
That's it. If you think about the act of placing versus the act of moving, there's a completely different dynamic there. So in the act of placing, you have to think about, what axis are you thinking about moving when you're order? Like, you're thinking of 2 axes and all the potential colors that you could form in a pattern, whereas placing, I want to block this pattern from happening or this pattern from happening. Do you think it's slightly more one-dimensional than order? I don't mean that as it's a one-dimensional way of playing, but it's.
Interesting question. I don't know. I think it's a bit easier as chaos for the first timer, but you'll just do it and then you go, oh, they've done super well.
Yeah.
We have a score for David Jameson of 89.
Yeah.
Which is good. I was speaking again to a few players in the middle. I think Andres Kusk said that somewhere in the low 80s is about average for this sort of level of ability.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think if I scored 85 usually, I would be umming and ahhing about how well I'm going to do, and anything over 90 is good. So 89 is on the better side of good. We'll see how James does. David Jameson does not make many mistakes. But Paco got 92 against David, so can James get there? I don't think James, speaking to him beforehand, I don't think he was super confident about this matchup. He was a bit annoyed that Paco didn't win, so that James would have to play someone else.
With a difference of, 3 points in that Paco David match.
So he moves this down, the green one down.
Mm-hmm. Would you move all, if you had the opportunity, would you move all 4 down?
No, I think I'd move the white one up, yeah.
Right, okay.
I probably wouldn't move it to there, but he's going to move the green one down next turn, and then it threatens the white one to D7.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have a look in a second about current scores, some other matches. We've got Kuno, Paco, James and David all on 4 points. So we're going to... Is that another green one? Oh, dear. This is James's chance, actually. He can hope that, David just draws 2 different colours at the start and then 2 different colours at the end and then see how we go.
Yep.
So I will be back in about a minute with some scores and some tie-break potential as well.
Brilliant.
And I will let you know what the current standings are.
Perfect, thank you. All right, song and dance time. And let us know in the comments if there's any games you're looking forward to or what you thought about Entropy so far. It's been the best match I've seen has been between Paco de la Banda and David Jameson, but this is shaping up to be interesting in how it can really turn the tournament on its head if James manages to score more than 89. Personally, I'm hoping James gets 89 because I'd love to see a draw. Last night we had a wonderful happenstance where in Plakoto backgammon there's a very rare occurrence of the mother checker being pinned, and we saw that in the very last game. We were talking about it all the way through the tournament, and we finally saw it in the last move of the tournament actually. So I'm hoping to see a draw. So we see David is just trying to block and or kind of divide the board in 2 there. He's consistently putting pieces into D3. Let us know as well if you're an Entropy player and you play often. Let us know what where you play Entropy, if there's a particular website, whether it's Mine UKO or vint.ee. Let us know where you play and if you've heard of any good Entropy AI. Okay. Exciting times, I hope.
Indeed. So I've got some information for you, those people who know some of these players at home. So we can see the score here. James Heppel's 89 to beat. He's managed to get 6 points on the left-hand side of the board. Not much else. At the moment, I wonder if he moves the yellow across. Yeah, he does. There we go. See, I got it.
I'm proud of you every time you get one right.
It threatens the green, so at some point you can move the green safe to the top row, threatening G1.
Green in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you can move the green up to G4.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, white not great.
White's fine. It's only 2 points.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's got that safe. He can move the yellow down or the green down maybe, so the yellow can go across. Anyway, what we've got is we've got Kuno and Paco, Ethereum on 4 points. 4 wins, but they're not playing each other, which means I imagine that Paco beat Kuno earlier.
Okay.
Which is good for Paco, because if Paco and Kuno tie, Paco will win that tie.
True.
Paco is playing Peter Horlock, the 3rd seed. We haven't seen Peter because he must have lost early on.
He
lost early on.
Game or 2.
He is 1-3, lost 2, so he's not in chance of the medal, potentially. But so Peter scored 70 points. In that game. So Paco's got 70 to beat, which you'd imagine Paco will do, given how good he is. So Paco's looking favourable. Kuno's got a much harder task. Kuno's also on 4 wins and 1 loss, and Kuno's got a much harder task, and he's playing Andres Kusk, his Estonian mentor as such. They're both great players. Obviously, Kuno's doing slightly better in this tournament, but sadly, I believe Kuno got... What did he get? Was it Kuno or Andres? One of them scored 86. I think Andres scored 86 and Kuno's got that to beat, which is a bit tougher for Kuno to do. So we'll see how that works. If Kuno and Paco win, Paco would break that tie, I imagine, given they will have played each other already.
Yep.
But yeah, so in this particular match, the tie breaks are very close. If it goes into a three-way tie, which it could do if all three players who are on 4 who can win. Currently, if it's a three-way tie, it'll go on if they've all played each other, and that won't matter. So it will go on Bushholt's method, and currently David Jameson is winning that, and that's based on the strength of his opponents throughout the event. So, advantage David Jameson, score of 89, slightly better tie breaks. Can he get a 4th medal in a row?
I was just saying, while you're right, we were talking about, we saw the mother checker last night. I'm hoping today we see the draw. The first draw in Entropy.
I think both players will be disappointed if they draw.
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
I
at
think
least
they'll be
the rest of
disappointed,
it leaves Paco de la Banda and Kuno Koch wide open to
Win it, yeah. So chance for Paco to win it. Actually, a draw might mean Paco wins, and Paco's our dark horse. Not a dark horse because he's excellent. Paco is our white horse. So I just worry for James if he finishes within 3 points, and he lost 4 points in his last move.
Yeah, true.
I wonder if that matters. And I wonder how much David Jameson plans stuff like that near the end, or does he just spot things he can do?
Yeah.
Or whether he sets himself up for it. There's a few blacks left, so maybe if I leave this black here, I can...
It would be interesting to talk to him, actually, after this match to see at what point he starts to think, oh, well, there are this many pieces left of this colour. How can I manoeuvre this quarter of the board? I'd love to hear that.
We're going to have a chat with whichever one of these players wins anyway, before we cut off, and we're back for this evening for backgammon with the lovely Ryan and Julie as well.
Yes.
Our backgammon master.
Yes, I'm going to learn many, many things tonight at backgammon.
Yeah, it's just 6 rounds, best of 1, but regular rules for backgammon. So if you enjoyed the Plakoto last night, it's back to regular backgammon, I'm afraid.
Okay, so Florian Germain has come with another comment on Facebook. To me, chaos first seems to be an advantage also. The reason is that when you play order, you know how many points you need to beat. It means that, for instance, in the end, if you have a move that gives you 4 sure 5 points and a move that gives you 12 points, only if the next piece got the same colour, which have 33% chance to happen, you will choose your strategy comparatively to the number of points you think you still need to win. So if you think you need 9 points, you could risk the 33% strategy. If you need 4, you're going to take the 5 points. So in that last one, there was the chance that there was something, I think it was in E1 or 2, that a green could have been drawn or something could have been drawn.
Because there were 3 greens left.
Yeah.
So what Florian's saying is you can make slightly more aggressive things. You can threaten slightly riskier things that are easy to get blocked unless a specific colour is drawn out. And if that colour is like a 30% chance or 33% chance to happen, it's usually not going to happen. However, if you need a big swing, maybe you need to force that and play for some odds. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think knowing what score to beat is always an advantage, actually. So yes, your opponent's equally skilled at both. I suppose chaos is potentially the better starting one.
Yeah.
So in that case, James Heppel is favourite. Possibly not with a score of 89.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. So I think James might move the blue one down.
B4 to B, or to A4?
Yeah, B4 to A4.
I was thinking just to threaten that white piece.
Yeah. So this is a softer block. It's still a good block because it takes James 3 moves to get the white across now. But you could put it on the edge, or you could put it in the middle, and I think that's a much more like an aggressive block. He's still putting it in the middle. He's still trying to block up the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. So when you want to force people to block you, want to force people to block you on the edge. Because if they're blocking you on the edge, they're not blocking the middle of the board. I wonder if you just move the white one
I was just
from
thinking
B5 to B4.
Yeah. Is that too simple a threat, though?
Possibly.
because there's only one more white to draw, and it's still a pretty open board.
What are you threatening?
A7.
Oh no, I wouldn't move it down. I would move b5 to b4. I'd move the white across one to threaten the blue down.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
there's still 4 blues left.
Yeah.
Also, the white to a7 isn't a palindrome.
The white to A7.
Is not a palindrome.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
You just saw 3 colours.
this is why I'm.
White's on the end.
That's why I'm awful at this game. Awful, especially at
You
order.
know, I think you're good. I think you've picked it up way quicker than you could have done.
I get really excited by this game. Particularly just locking the colours together is very fun.
You can move the purple up. I think David's blocking him quite well here. He's already starting to get several pockets of space.
What's the tile that's come out here?
It looks black to me.
Yeah.
I think David's doing well. He's blocked things well. Poor James. So if you've got like 2 long pathways, placing one in the intersection of those pathways is a good block. If they don't move it straight away, you can then start to do that. So that's why the very central space on the board is very good, because it's the centre of the 2 main thoroughfares.
Yeah. Can you think of an ortho? Because we've looked at a lot of board games here. Between Corridor, Avalon, Twixt, and backgammon to a certain extent, if you consider the centre of the board, and Entropy, all of which the centre of the board is prized more than the edges. Like, that's seen as a really good controlling space. Can you think of a board game where the edges of the board are more important, or?
It depends which side you are in Entropy, I guess, because as order you want the edges, and as chaos you want the centre.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So one where the edges are is more important. In Mensa Connections, you work from the outside in, but it's not more about control. That's just about laying tiles. Abalone is obviously centre of the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yinches. A lot of the GIP series games are.
Chess.
Chess, definitely, yeah. Any sort of like controlling games. Drafts. The edge of the board, your pieces are more powerful because they can't be taken.
Yeah, very interesting.
There you go. Drafts. Or checkers if you're from the United States. So he's threatening, so we can't block this. There's a blue from E5 to the bottom.
Yeah.
So E5 all the way to the bottom. It's threatening that, and David's drawn a blue. Is that a blue? Oh, it's a green. Sorry, I thought it was blue. Oh, so he scored 8.
Very good.
I don't know if David, but I mean, he scored 8 and he's blocking himself. He's just getting blocked in now. I think James is lucky to be scoring more than 80 given his start. I think he'd be lucky. I mean, I think mid-70s is what he's.
Yeah.
If that.
There's not a whole lot of.
No big scores there.
Yeah. And at this point, do you unless you're David Jameson, do you need to be seeing those big scores, unless you can really manoeuvre things around?
Sorry, can you say that again?
With not as many bigger scores in the early game here, and particularly in the mid game, do you need to be particularly good in your late game to really pull it back?
Yeah,
or
I think And I think David Jameson's is consistent enough that you're not going to score too much more. Paco did very well
Yeah,
to swing that match round, to get back up to 92. So Paco did very well. I think he was lucky a bit when he got like the 5 in a rows, like the red, green, red, green, red.
Yes, yeah.
He got a couple of them, didn't he, against David for 14 points each.
Yeah. There aren't that. There's 6 reds still to come out.
Yeah, I think that's your best chance. I think there's a lot of reds, so you want to potentially set up reds so they're favourable.
Yeah.
But you don't have much flexibility here at all. Every time it looks like, because David Jameson's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 individual pockets he can place pieces.
Yeah,
you're just not moving them around enough.
He's really separated out the board here.
So reds are your chance. I think reds are, you're going to have to score something off your reds here. Florian Germain is just saying that the mistake we think James made that lost him 4 points only lost 2. We'd have to go back and look at the streams. We haven't got the ability to do that live, I'm afraid. So Florian, given how well you've done so far, I believe I'm going to back you there. So maybe -2.
Our cameraman is really thinking this through, though.
He's very good. He's going to give this a go. So maybe if it comes down to the point where it's like a 4 to 2 point difference in the scores, we might have a look back at that and see if you could have done that better, because it was predictable. James is threatening F. Oh, hang on. James has got a chance here. He can move F1 to F3. What's he doing? F1 to F3 scores him loads. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to do something else?
Is he maybe leaving it open for the reds? Or?
I don't know. I mean, F1 to F3 scores him an extra 8. It loses him 3. It loses him 5 and scores 8. So only gains 3, I think. But it's still good. I think I'd still do that.
Yeah, but then you move down.
Yeah, if
G1 to F1.
If there's space, yeah. Yeah. I think David was blocking a 6-pointer. The black from E3 to E4 would have scored James 6. So David was blocking that, which actually nets James more points. Oh, blues are good. Blues are good. He's going to... Yeah. Okay. So he's got 6 points back there.
Yeah.
But he couldn't put the blue there. He couldn't block that with a blue, because then that whole row would score tons.
Yeah. And then we just moved the white down.
So there's a chance now for James. There's a chance now. The row F is scoring him 17 points. Column 1 is scoring 6. Are there any other big scores he's got? Column 7 scores 6. Row C scores 8. There's not too much more there.
No.
Just the odd 2s and 3s elsewhere.
There's not even, as order, David was scoring lots of smaller ones, so he didn't get anything really above 10 and 11. But he got lots of 3s, lots of 6s.
Yeah. Row D scores 6.
We're at a crucial point in this game. However, I do want to ask you something with on the idea of Entropy being very hard to acquire and it being important to play out in online communities. How important is it, do you think, for board games to archive, as it were, and facilitate spaces where people can play older games, study where they've come from, see how they've evolved. There's a big push in that in video games because we're losing a lot of consoles are breaking and they need maintenance, and we're losing a lot of the history of the medium. How important do you think that is in board games?
Board games is much more a physical thing, so
Yeah.
if you've board games not got an electronic presence online, I think some board games do die out. They just become out of print, and no one kind of has the love to make it online, and yeah they do die out. But I also think that, I don't know how many video games come out in each year, but I imagine the number of board games is more now. There was like 2,000 games came out in 2017.
You can. It's probably more. It's probably comparable. If you think of releases on Steam, for instance,
Okay.
there's hundreds a day.
But once it's released on the internet, is it not saved-ish?
Do you think it's saved, or do you think there's something in the presence, that physical presence around a table, that is lost online? Because that is a big part of playing board games, and particularly the culture around playing board games. Do you think that's something that's lost?
Maybe. It's hard to keep some of the games, like, you remember the games you played from a kid, the odd weird game that your grandparents had and stuff, and you just can't find nowadays. So there's probably more lost than we give credit for.
There's on the idea of that, there's a museum in Brazil called the Board Game Museum of Alfonso X, who was king in the Iberian Peninsula and also an avid board game player, and he wrote a book of games. So it's named after that. It was very interesting.
I think James is struggling here. I don't think he's going to catch up. I still think he's going to struggle to score more than 70.
More than 70, really?
I think so. He's got 17 on row F, and he's probably going to get more than 70 because you generally do, but it's just not as good as a board as David had. So... So this is the last time I get to commentate with you. What has been your favourite game that we've done then, that we've watched?
I've really enjoyed Entropy with you. Your knowledge on it has been really good.
Thank you.
I enjoyed Abalone yesterday. It was great.
Good,
So
yeah.
I think, Entropy and Abalone have been great with you so far.
Yeah. This has been hard. We've watched three matches, and they were hour-long matches as well. So
It's been a long
it's
one.
a bit of a long one. I think I might take this evening off, to be honest. But you'll be back.
I'll be back.
You'll be back with backgammon.
Backgammon tonight. 6.1.
6 times 1 point
Six
games. Yeah.
6 times 1 point games. Okay.
Yeah. Six lots of 1 point games.
Yep.
So it should be fairly fast. It looks like column 2 scores loads, but it scores nothing.
Oh yeah.
If you swapped the yellow and the black in the middle, the yellow and the black at the bottom round, it would score 21 or whatever. No, 15, sorry.
Something sorely needed by James.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's... So what's left then? We've got 1 green, 1 yellow. All the reds have come out. The reds that were loads in the bag.
Yeah. But
Two blues. Two
blues.
blues.
But as you said, David had separated the board so well that it's just a series of ones.
Okay.
Oh, there's a 6.
Yeah, but he couldn't be blocked there.
Yeah.
He's got an opportunity as well to move the... This is a potential chance, actually. David should place this in A7.
Okay.
Because
It's a purple piece, yeah.
it's a purple piece. If he doesn't do that, James can move A6 to A7, get an extra point for splitting the reds up, threaten the blue down, because there's still a blue left in the bag. It might not be possible for David to block it.
Okay.
So he's done that. Well done, David. So what have we got? So this is James has still got 2 minutes left, so he's going to have a think. We've got 1 blue, 1 green, 1 yellow, and 1 more purple. Blue, green, yellow, purple. So the green will not go in G1.
No, definitely not.
Blue, green, yellow, purple.
Do you ever get to this point of the game and as an order player, you get a little bit overwhelmed with the possibilities? and it just takes you a while to center yourself.
I'd be fine, but if I was timed, I might not be.
Yeah.
So I think James has done a slightly bluff here. He's moved the black from A2 to A1, G2 to G1.
I might be able to do a replay. It will be completely hacked, but it might just about work.
Only if it matters. Only if the scores are close.
Okay.
So see after the game.
I'll go outside.
Got a green still to come, blue. Green, blue and a yellow.
So the yellow will score. Oh yeah, okay. So the green can't go in the middle of that. David. So maybe just puts the yellow there. Yeah. So green, blue. Maybe you just move the blue down from C6 to C7. Because then whatever you put there will score. As it stands, David's got a safe blue on B2 and a safe green on B6. So James has to do something to stop.
Does he take the chance of moving, say, A2 to B2? And that it'll be...
he does if David draws the green first, yes. So if David draws the green first, I think he does that. Does it gain him any extra points? No, it doesn't. It doesn't gain him. It gains him 1 point more.
Yes, because there's a 6
It gains
there,
him
I'm
one. It
looking
gains
at.
him 1 point more. So, yeah, maybe. So what's he drawn? He's drawn the blue. So the blue's going to go in B2. Yeah, it's going to go in B2, and then James will pass, and then. All right. I don't think James can do anything. He's just going to get 2 points either way. Pass with 1 second left.
There we go.
They're shaking hands. I don't think it's going to be close enough for James to win, but we're going to stick with this until we get the scores, and then we're going to have an interview with the winner. Then we're going to just confirm that the winner of this match wins the gold, because they had the best 2 tie breaks. If Paco wins, David's beaten Paco, so David will win that tie as well. But yeah. Who beat David Jameson?
Wasn't Andres Kusk, was it?
It
No,
wasn't
David
Andres.
beat.
David Jameson lost. Oh, it was Demis Hassabis.
Yeah.
And Demis is not in that. So if David finishes tied with Demis, obviously Demis would favour that tie, but David didn't lose to someone who's going to be in the tie. So we'll see how this works.
Yep, Demis is currently 3 and 2.
66. I said he'd struggle to hit 70, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just going to... Do you want to go and grab Dave Jameson
Yes.
for me? Have a quick chat with him. Can you double check the medals after that, if that's possible, and bring those back through? All right, so there we have it. The end of the Entropy World Championship. It looks like David Jameson has won the gold. We will confirm that for you. We're just going to have a chat with him because we've seen him play 2 excellent games at the top table, beating Paco Garcia de la Banda, who was undefeated going into that match. And James Heppel, an all-round great guy, an all-round great player. He beat James quite convincingly by 23 points in the end. So we'll have a chat with David in a sec. This is the last you see from me today, but I will be back on Sunday and Monday with Chris Fung. You can check the schedule of events on Facebook and the MSO website itself. But yeah, you can see the scores of the potential competitions are behind me. We've got 2 chess variants on Saturday. We've got chess 960 and colour chess. And then we've got the Carcassonne, and then on Sunday, the final day, we've got Azul, and finally Agricola, the end of the Agricola tournament, which is a definite brain burner is Agricola. Excellent Euro game and a fitting end to the week. If you stay tuned as well, there will be an award ceremony where we get to see people winning the overall awards for Pentamind for the juniors and the regular and the seniors and the women's. So thank you very much for watching Entropy. We will be back after a quick interview with Dave Jameson at 7:30 when he potentially makes his way into the room. Again, if you've got any comments, please pop them down onto Facebook or YouTube, and we will try and get back to them this evening. If we don't have time to answer them now, there can be comments about anything you've got for the Mind Sports Olympiad. And there is still time to come down and join in yourself. We've got Friday, Sunday and Monday for more events to come. Hi David, how are you doing? Take a seat. Well done. Cheers. I'll just pop the headset on, please. That'll be lovely. Another excellent performance for you, so well done. Did you end up winning the gold? Or do we not know yet?
Yeah, I've got the gold on. I tied with Paco.
Okay, and because you beat Paco, you win the tiebreak, do you?
No, it's based on our opponents, who we played. And I played I got a good first round opponent, Noah, who I beat, but she went to score 4 points. She's quite a good player.
Yeah.
So
she wasn't seeded, but she potentially should be next year.
Yeah, she got 4 points last year, so it's someone I expect to beat, but she's quite a good player, and I thought she'd get quite a few points, which helps me.
Okay. So you played 6 matches, you won 5. Which was your toughest match over the course of the event?
Obviously, the one I lost to Demis must be the toughest, I suppose. But
I don't know. Paco did quite well. He got 92 against you, didn't he?
Yeah, that was very stressful. I can't normally chase that amount down. Yeah, James was quite easy game in the end.
It was, yeah. You did so well as Chaos in the end there. He just had no scope to move. He had like six, 7 or 8 different areas where you could put things, and you couldn't kind of join them up. So we thought you were doing very well there. So you must have been happy with scoring 89 first as well.
Yeah, because he's got to chase a big score, and he tried for the big ones early on, and they didn't come off. And then, he hasn't got enough points early on or any big threats, so I can just defend quite comfortably from them. But
yeah, it looked pretty comfortable in the end. You must be happy. This is 4 years in a row, is it, that you've won this?
Yeah, that's the goal. My goal is to break all the records. So
just for Entropy or in general?
Yeah, in general. It's Entropy.
What is the current record you're aiming to beat?
Well, I've tied the most number of golds with Demis.
Which is how many now?
5 golds.
5 golds?
It's the first time anyone's won 4 in a row. Medalled 6 times in a...
I think since 2012 you've medalled, according to my little notebook.
Yeah, it's a record for the number of medals in a year, 6 years in a row, and it's also 6 times in the top 2, which is a record.
So excellent performance.
I've got to chase down Demis. Demis is still at the top of the table, and he beat me today, so I still can't say I'm the best. So
do you think he beat you because of random luck, or do you think he just had a really good game?
I didn't have good luck in that game, but he played Chaos very well.
Can you remember roughly what the scores were?
I only got 75 as order to start with, which I think I can defend against the top players and maybe defend 40% of the time, maybe.
Okay.
So it's not enough.
Yeah, not enough. Okay.
They can just make simple scores, 2s and 3s, and get pretty close.
Okay. So you're here all week usually, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is there any events you're looking forward to playing now that you've got your banker out of the way?
Stone Age tomorrow.
Okay.
I've played a lot of games online Stone Age, so I was one of the top players on Board Game Arena at Stone Age. So
excellent. Where do you rank on that then?
I keep creating my account, so I'm starting another one. But I've been a lot of top 10 players on Board Game Arena, but I was hoping Ricardo would be here.
Yeah, he's not, I'm afraid.
Because he's world champion, so I know it makes it feel harder, but I'd like to beat Ricardo. So.
Okay. Do you think on Board Game Arena, do you play, is it 4 players or 2 players only?
I prefer 4 players. I do play some 2-player.
Okay.
It's a bit brutal.
Yeah.
It's kind of Bijan's kind of game where you just it's denial and...
okay, but 4 players is more about just focusing on your own game plan.
It's just efficiency.
Okay.
Efficiencies of actions and building an engine.
Right.
Whereas 2 players are very tactical, brutal. You've got like 20 wood already, and they haven't got any, so you just take more even though you don't even need it. So.
All right, just so that you can't get it back and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so more importantly, this is the five times you won it. Hopefully, we'll see for fifth time you've won it, fourth time in a row. Hopefully, we will see you again next year. We hope that you've had a good day, and that we hope you have a good rest of the week. So, thank you very much.
Yeah,
David.
I look
Cheers.
forward to watching the commentary. So I'll get back home.
Cheers, and much appreciate it. If you see any errors we made, please let me know. You've got my Facebook. Anyway, that's it for today. 7:30 tonight. We are going to be back with. Backgammon, six times best of one. So we'll see you for it then, and the schedule for the remaining week, Sunday and Monday, is up on the screen behind us and on our Facebook page and website. So thanks very much for watching Entropy World Championship. David Jameson, well done.